when nothing
Hello,
is
and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is Dave, and I'll be Keeper of Arcane Lore for this session of Call of Cthulhu. Today we are continuing Chapter 3 of A Time to Harvest, and you can get your own copy of this scenario slash campaign, it's a campaign, from Chaosium.com. All of the previous episodes are available on the Chaosium YouTube, and if you're watching there, you can join us live each Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific over on the Chaosium Twitch channel. Thank you to Roll20 and to Sirenscape for being great tools we use to improve our games, and without further ado, let's return to the story. So the three of you are currently standing outside in the softly falling snow of Latuke, Canada. You are looking at the Young Men's Christian Fellowship Center, where the homeless gather under Father Dubois, and are fed and housed for the night. You have just had a meeting with the priest who has expelled you from the building, and you're now watching the inside where you can see light filtering through the windows. If each of you could introduce your investigators and let me know how you're feeling rather. Art, do you want to begin?
Hi, I'm Art, and I am playing Sebastian McCarthy, who is definitely had enough of gods for a while, or people associated with them. Mainly, I think at this point because he just wants to be one. Not really sure. I mean, magic.
Yeah.
You know? He is dressed sort of comfortably for the weather. You know, he has like a nice warm, thick jumper, as well as his sort of standard suit, and has the coat of the Federated Oil and Chemical over the top of that. Pants sort of like in pockets, kind of with a look. He looks like he's fuming a little. Looks like he's not impressed by the conversation that just went down. Yeah, that's
fair enough.
Seb.
It's not often a McCarthy is snubbed or kicked out of an event.
Yeah. It's also, you know, not often that a priest turns around and is like, you are bad people, when the priest is doing the murdering.
You don't know if he's doing the murder.
Yeah, we do.
Allegedly.
Alright, so standing next to Seb, there's Jackson playing Chaz.
Oh, it's me. I'm Jackson. I'm playing Chaz, who is ready to rumble. Yo, finally, after all these months and weeks of sitting around and snooping around and investigating, there's a chance he might get to punch something. And that's what he signed up for. He's full of, he's going over all those drills he did with the captain back at the boxing ring. So, you know, limbering up, getting ready to go a few rounds with the mythos.
So did you get kicked out of the home for homeless people run by a priest, and you immediately start stretching, withdrawing your kosh from its sling, right?
Is there any other conclusion to reach? Come on, we found the bad guy. We found his lair in the woods.
Let's kick this door open. Hell yeah. Okay, all right. Seb's fuming. Chaz is stretching.
Where is
Katie?
the lie?
Katie, yes, I am James. I am playing Katie, the bookworm, the nerd with a slight streak of criminality. And I'm sort of standing outside, probably trying to warm up a little bit in the cold, fumbling for my journal to go through it and start reviewing the notes. And I know, as a scientifically minded person, that you don't want to leap to conclusions about priests being guilty. But I'll tell you, the evidence is stacking. I mean, the keeper is right. We don't know. We're pretty sure, though.
Yeah, you can be pretty sure. You just need to factor that into, you know, actions taken and how they will be perceived by the police and etc.
Oh, of course.
So,
Sorry,
yeah.
please.
No, you're right. Sorry. I'm just going to say, so the three of you are standing out in the snow. It's early night, sun just setting behind, and people are throughout Latuke heading home and having dinner, and then they'll have a few hours before bed and retiring for the evening. No one seems to be coming or going from the center anymore, although some may still enter later in the night. You have your hotel, which you can return to. You can stay here and take further actions. I leave it in your hands. What are the three of you want to do?
Let's start heading back towards the hotel. We can always change direction. We'll talk about our plan, but I just want to be heading in somewhere so we don't get trapped out in the cold.
Walking, or do you want to flag a taxi?
I think we need to hail a cab for Seb.
Okay. Well, you guys begin to walk down the block, and you'll hail the first taxi that you see. But in the meantime, and I'll presume that you're heading towards the hotel as you have your discussion.
Yeah. Well, the quick question is, the father's going to be inside. Dubois going to be tending to people, doing nice, good, holy things, and trying to help the homeless population. Should we use that moment of weakness to break into his home?
Is his home like? Do we know where he lives?
Cabin out in the woods, right?
That's not where he lives. Well, that was described as a fixer-upper, so I don't think that's where he lives. But we could.
You also don't necessarily have an address for that.
Yeah, we don't know where it is.
That's all right. We just wander out in the woods till we find it.
In the cold, I think we'd freeze. I think back to the hotel, and then tomorrow morning, maybe we can get down to the local town hall, and we can look at municipal records, and we can try and locate the house by that using that as a tactic. Otherwise, maybe we keep an eye on this place. Actually, maybe that's not a bad idea. Maybe we stake out the youth center this evening.
See where he goes? Yeah, I don't mind it. I like it.
There's no way we can get a car ourselves, right? Just a vehicle where we, all respect to cabbies. We can get a car?
We can certainly ask.
Yeah, you got $400 sitting in cash. You can buy one.
Oh, okay. Well,
you'd rent a car, or you'd borrow it from someone. But yeah, and the hotel might even have like services where they can set you up. Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a large company behind you. If it can be solved with money, it can be solved.
Okay,
all
well,
right,
let's lean
it's
into
like
that
you're all
then.
a McCarthy on this blessed day.
Praise be. All right, well, let's head back to the hotel. Let's rent a car, drive in, and stakeout. Genuinely, we can take some sandwiches.
Oh, talking of, hands out the sandwiches that I bought, like, theoretically in-game half an hour ago, or 15 minutes ago, but in real time, weeks. Sandwiches. I bought these, given that you two didn't exactly have breakfast.
And that's the power of note-taking, everybody.
Yeah, very true.
It's also the power of having people who watch us who are also in, like, my chat and Discord who are like, it's Seb bought sandwiches. And I was like, I did?
Oh my gosh, we've crowdsourced our inventory management. Fantastic.
Now just all notes and actions will be voted upon by the people. True democracy.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Look. We've done a lot of things so far that have landed us on the wrong side of the law. In this specific instance, we do have the backing of the police department and Federated Oil and Chemical. I don't think it's unreasonable to take, at least to Mr. Pascal and possibly also to the detective, what we have already found. The fact that these are not being done with the same technology that we expected to find, the fact that we found a piece of cloth that seems to very closely resemble that of the father's attire near where one of the dead bodies was found. The fact that these men are unknown, I think it is reasonable that, while we don't have anything conclusive at the moment, letting the authorities in on what we do know gives us a much better buffer for taking further action. If we just go out now, stake out places, potentially get into altercations, we run the risk of being on the wrong side of the law because we haven't told them what we're doing. So, at least in this respect, I'd like to speak to Mr. Pascal and let him know, and then maybe ask him or make up our own minds about going and speaking to the detective with what we have, because, well, I don't know about you, but as much as, the Migo are one thing, a psychopath with a bone saw is not necessarily something I want to come up against without some kind of backup.
Those are all good points, and I think you're right. We definitely should want to stay on the right side of the law here as best we can. So, no breaking into houses. I think parking outside
Not
might
breaking
not be
into houses without a warrant.
Yeah,
We can get a warrant and break into houses just fine, but I'd rather go by the book on this one unless we absolutely can't.
no, I hear you. My one problem is that I'm a little worried that if we leave this kind of place unattended, we might end up with someone else dying on the street tonight. You know, we don't know what if it is indeed the father. We don't know what Dubois' plans are. And for all we know, the conversation that we had with him today could provoke more action. It's not illegal to park outside in a car and watch. I don't even necessarily want to be following him. We can make ourselves known. I think that one of us heads home and prepares for the meeting, and then two of us sit outside and just watch, see if they can spot anything suspicious. Hey, maybe we can get lucky and get a camera or something. I don't know. Actually, I think camera technology probably isn't quick enough for us to set up anything that will be able to catch evidence.
It'd take a bit more skill to use for this purpose than you have, I think.
Yeah, I figure. But we could watch.
Well, yeah, I don't think you're incorrect. There is nothing illegal against watching. Well then...
And acting when necessary. I like it. I mean, we don't know what he's gonna do next. We gotta get ahead of the game. We gotta get a couple of steps ahead. You know, us going and seeing him, maybe that's putting him a few steps ahead. So now we gotta get a few steps ahead ourselves.
How about this? How about we should be able to get a cab just at the corner here. I'll take my sourced sandwich. Thank you very much, Seb. And the two of you head back to the hotel. I'll stay here just to make sure I can get an eye on the place, make sure that nobody darts away or does any crash.
You're gonna watch on your own? I don't like
just
that.
for a few minutes until someone comes back with a car. And then we can...
It'll be at least an hour or two.
Just for an hour or two until someone comes back with a car.
Yeah, I don't like it. A lot can happen in an hour, Katie.
Let me... Look, I agree with Chaz. I don't think you should be out here on your own.
Okay.
Whoever is in a vehicle is most likely going to be slightly more secure than anyone who's not. So why don't the two of you wait here, find somewhere warm to hold up. I'll go back to the hotel, organize a car, and then, you know, speak to Mr. Pascal, and then we can decide what we're doing from there.
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll be here. Is there a conveniently placed cafe across the street where we can watch the door?
There is. It's even on the map.
Wait, what?
Justine's Hardware is just across the road.
Get out of town.
And it's a large, like warehouse style store with sections broken up, and one part of them is a diner currently serving dinners. There's large windows that face across the street and look to, amongst other houses, the YMCFC, and the two of you can find a booth. You'll be served food, coffee, anything you need to stay up throughout the long night, and you'll be able to stay here as late as, say, 10 p.m. Thereabouts. They also will serve liquor as they have a license for it. And this also adjoins onto a store, although that is closing down, and they're no longer. You only have a moment or two if you want to purchase anything. So the two of you post up there. Is there anything further?
I think that's about it. We park in. I think the sight of liquor will make us sick at this stage, especially after our last morning's work. Yeah, I think it's park and it's watch. Wait for Seb.
Okay. All right. So Chaz and Katie find a booth and order some food. I presume, Chaz, you've swallowed the sandwich and are now looking for seconds.
I'm a growing boy.
Put some meat in your
Growing
bones.
upwards.
So a couple of plates are brought over and you can settle in for the couple of hours it will take for Seb to return. Meanwhile, Seb, you hail a taxi, which pulls up alongside you, and after passing over a few coins, you make your way down the streets, moving against traffic, and then cutting across the hotel, where there's a couple of other cars pulled up along the outside as people depart, head in for an evening meal or some drinks and dancing. You stride across the large foyer, and then you can find a lift behind the lobby that will take you up towards Leon Pascal's room. Unless there's anything further you want to do. When you arrive, he's dressed formally. And you can see that inside his room he has requested a writing desk, which has been set up, and there's some piles of very neatly stacked papers to the side, a briefcase resting, and he has a portable trunk, which he probably uses regularly in his travels, opened, and inside you can see it's got like an array of different suits and clothing, all neatly stepped away. And he's got like, 3 different types of shoes depending on the evening he has. He clearly travels a lot and does this sort of thing for his work. He does not seem at all surprised to see you. He says, Mr. McCarthy, how's your investigation gone today? Oh, you're muted.
Ooh.
Now I'm not. Interestingly, and good evening, Mr. Pascal.
You as well?
I thought it best to update you on our progress. Couple of interesting things to note. First and foremost, it does not appear that these unfortunate souls were taken out with the same kind of technology that we would be expecting to see from the creatures. This seems to have been something completed with a little more rudimentary skill, something akin to a bone saw or similar. So either the Migo are trying to hide what they're doing here, or it's a copycat.
In your expertise, which do you believe it to be?
I am leaning towards someone who may have stumbled across something, a description of what these Migo do, and is attempting to replicate it for some reason. I'm not sure. I'm not discounting the possibility that it is the Migo trying to hide their steps, but they didn't seem particularly phased about leaving Professor Learmont's body with half a skull missing, to be, looked at later. So I'd be surprised if it is them, but I don't want to discount it. At the moment, my theory is it's a copycat. Specifically also given the fact that we found a piece of fabric at the scene of one of the bodies. 2 things. One, the body had been moved. That was not where it was found, was not the place it was, the man was killed. And the fabric we found seems to, although again, we're working on assumptions without any kind of, science to back it, seems to be of a very similar make and material to that worn by the father over at the youth center, who does seem to have a close relationship with a lot of the homeless in this area. He also has a property outside of town, which makes for a useful place to quietly dispose of people, if that is what is happening.
I can see where conclusions might be drawn. At this point, you both stepped inside, and he's got a small table which you sit at. He pours coffee for the 2 of you as you continue talking, and he says, already, in just one short day, you've found more than the police have with the heft of their battalion behind them. You've shown that the 3 of you are more than capable of investigating this alien presence. Now, you do believe that this is still, even if it is a man, they are operating with knowledge possibly provided to them by the Migo? Because understand, Mr. Abelard's interests are directed towards the Migo. Now, if this is a mundane, although disgusting crime, this is a police matter from here. And we can withdraw, return you to your rest, and continue preparations for the forthcoming mission.
I am not convinced that it is just some person who has decided on their own merit to remove the half skulls of people and take out the brains. That is a very specific way of disposing of someone. The coincidence would have to be astronomical, and I'm not one for assuming astronomical coincidences, where a far simpler explanation would be that this person has stumbled across information about the Migo in some form. It is quite likely that if this is the father, he has not stumbled across anything directly related to Migo as they are named, for the simple reason that Miss Wilkes quite cleverly dropped both the names of Migo and something else. Yeah, Shub-Niggurath. And the father did not react to either of them in any way. Seemed, if anything, confused. So I don't think it's directly related to the Migo. I don't think they are here directing this man's actions, but I suspect either they were here, maybe previously, and someone remembers what those bodies looked like, but had no idea why they were the way they were, or simply that this person has stumbled across information that talks about the Migo in vague terms and doesn't reference them directly, occult things.
One thing I will flag is, as you mentioned the Migo and Shub-Niggurath, he doesn't blink at the Migo, but Shub-Niggurath, he has no idea what that is. He doesn't recognize, he doesn't draw into it, and he seems to pointedly go like, it's a sort of lawyer thing. He just goes like, he kind of catalogs it, but he does not know what that means. And he can make the tie. It's lashed to mythos.
In retrospect, because I know that Shub-Niggurath is not something that we've spoken to them about, I may not have actually said that to him. I might have just said we dropped the name Migo and he didn't respond. It doesn't really matter one way or the other, but
I'm gonna hold you to saying it for the time being, just because I think knowing that he doesn't know it is information in some level. Cool. And beyond that, he listens to everything you say. He takes it on board. He asks a few questions throughout it, just clarifying points. Overall, he seems to be very happy with how you pursue the investigation, how you've gone through the police so far. And he says, through legitimate channels is the safest way for us to operate. Here's where we need to make a decision, though. Understand, Mr. Abelard's pursuit is that of the Migo, their knowledge, and any ties to them. If they are operating here, he'll want to pursue that, and with the side objective which you've been given, as I understand it, of returning a living creature or a corpse back to Arkham. Now, if that's not the case, and if this is a degenerate priest who has decided to pursue this sick fantasy of his, then this is ultimately a police matter. Now, Father Dubois, from what I understand, while he has not lived here for years. That's not true. It is years, but not his entire life has been in Latuque. He is an can't remember the word, but he's moved here. He is a staple in the society, and the police will be slow to act against him. This is your mission. I'm here to support you, offer advice, but beyond that, it's your call to make. Understanding that you should take minimal risks because any injuries you sustain here might be carried through and potentially stall the forthcoming and more important return to Cobb's Corners. So as I see it, we can call it now. There is no active Migo presence. You've investigated. We return. You rest up. Head to Vermont as soon as possible. Secondly, you can go through the police. You can tell them what you found, make your argument, and hope that they assist in your investigation or make it as legitimate as possible. Finally, the police have served their purpose here. You work for Federated Oil and Chemical, and if push comes to shove, we can fly you out quickly. You make your investigation, and if necessary, we evacuate you during the night. And we get back across the border before the Canadian police can pursue.
You need a decision tonight, or I'd rather speak to my companions.
No decision needed, but if you can let me know which way you're leaning, once you've made it, no decision tonight. When you've made a decision, let me know and I can make preparations.
At this stage, I feel more comfortable going through official channels until we have exhausted all possibility of working together. Should that be the case, then, well, emergency evac is not the worst thing I've heard.
Okay. Is there
I'd
anything
like
else?
to be certain there are no Migo in the area before we say this is 100% some man acting on sick fantasies. Even if they aren't currently here, it would be interesting to know why this kind of, why this is in the atmosphere, if you understand my meaning.
I understand your meaning. I'm at your service, Mr. McCarthy. If there's anything else I can procure, you just let me know.
Actually, there is. We'd like to get access to a vehicle for personal use, if that's possible.
Not an issue. I'll call down and I'll have one ready by the time you get to the lobby.
Thank you, Mr. Pascal. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
You as well. Happy hunting. And then as you go, he'll call down, and you see him jotting down a few notes in a journal, just updating. He is clearly keeping records of this whole investigation. By the time you get down to the lobby, one of the valets with the little square hat thing comes out to you, hands you a couple of cars, and there is a vehicle being pulled around. It's not the fanciest car, but it is probably the fanciest car in the fleet. You're given keys, and I did have a little snoop on your character sheet. You do not have any extra points to drive auto. Now, you can drive it outside of extraneous conditions. How is Seb behind the wheel?
I would say he knows how to drive, given the fact that everyone in the world, apparently, according to their character sheet, knows the rudimentary basics of driving.
If it's logical, yeah.
Yeah, I think Seb was shown how to drive by, his parents, for the simple reason that, like, you do need to know how to drive a vehicle because you need to know. And also, like, he does enjoy going for a drive around, the country or whatever, just as like a, get away from everything kind of stuff. So he knows how to drive, but like, he's not a rally driver. He's not, great in adverse conditions. Most of the time when there is driving to be done, he is driven places by people in his family's employ, but he does know how to drive for pleasure.
Makes sense. So you get in and begin to pull out. It's a bit snowy around. You're a little nervous about like sliding, but you are more than capable of driving over and you begin to head across. I did
You're
just
also
Google.
dealing with someone whose body still isn't firing on all cylinders correctly. So it's like, I haven't done this since before the accident.
Oh yeah. Just keeping it cautious. I did just Google what side of the road Canada drives on because I was thinking there might be a swap. Elsewhere, let's return to the others. Chaz and Katie, you've set up in a booth and you're watching. For the first 20 minutes, half an hour, nothing seems to be coming or going.
Just the soft sound of Chaz eating another sandwich and Katie looking on in awe. Do we eventually spot anything, or
Herculean. What I want you to do is, can you both make stealth tests for me, please, with bonus dice? As you're sitting down for a while, at one point the door does open and the father heads down the steps and goes around the corner, still on the property but heading towards something around the back. He casts an eye across it. Are you like hunkered down into your seats, or are you like just watching brazenly from the windows? No, you are kind of around a corner. Actually, I don't even need a roll. That you're around a corner, like in the seats watching. It would be pretty miraculous for him to spot you. And he seems to be, while he scans the horizon, he doesn't look directly towards the cafe. He doesn't seem to search for it. You see him go around the corner, still on the property, and towards the back of the house. And then he stays there for a little while.
At this point, seeing that he's about to go outside of our line of sight, I'm going to reach across and tap Chaz and say, he's moving. I'm going to walk down the street. I'll do a loop. If I'm not back in, I don't know, a good amount of time, come get me.
Why do you gotta go? Because get in trouble over there.
You can go on the side of a truck.
Well, yeah, so I can defend myself, all right?
But I can run away. It's still early enough, okay? I'm just gonna walk straight along. He's not gonna spot me.
All right, just be quick, all right? Be right here. You got what do you want? 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right.
3 minutes, and then I'll jump.
Okay. All right.
Okay. as Chaz protests, Katie steps up from the table and heads outside. The door slides open and you're out in the cold, pulling your jacket on as immediately the biting air begins to circle you. Yep.
So to be clear, my objective here is we know he's going to do something in the back. I just want to get eyes on what he's doing, whether it's as innocent as getting some more firewood or, whether he's going to be dragging a large sack with feet poking out of it.
Okay, no worries. You begin to head along the street, walking briskly, your feet leaving prints in the freshly fallen snow, and then you get towards the property. From here, there's no easy line on him. He seems to be somewhere around the back, but the trail that goes around the corner, you can see his own footprints. He has gone back, and he has not returned. Additionally, on the other side, there's no prints either, and it looks like there's a small hedge that goes across it. This would be the way he comes back. You can stay here and wait for his return, or you can begin to pick your way through the trees and investigate.
I'm going to pick my way through the trees, try and get a bit closer.
All right. Cautiously, you hang low. Your jacket
sneak.
quickly getting wet from the snow and then moving under brush. Can you please make a stealth test, please, Jim?
Yes, absolutely. Coming up. I'll try and fight my way through the bushes. That is a fail.
Okay.
Oh, this music's gone spooky.
You begin to move underneath them, heading around the side. You can see the tall two-story building towards the back. All the front windows are open, but the back ones, a number of them have sheets boarded up, possibly additional insulation, possibly something more sinister. You're heading around the rear. There is a doorway that would have once led out to veranda, but the veranda has been removed. And now it sort of hangs a good 3 or 4 feet up in the sky and appears to not have been used in quite some time. Towards the back, there's freshly fallen snow, but the garden kind of gives way to just scraggly grass. Finally, there is a single shed towards the rear with the door slightly ajar and light on inside. The footsteps clearly lead to it. Now, you haven't fumbled. You haven't pushed this. You can go no further. You get towards the edge and you just any further from here, you're sure that you'll be heard or seen. You just not confident in your approach. You can push this roll.
I think at this stage, what I do is if I don't think I can get close, I'm sure I'm going to be heard, is I'll try and not double back because I'm trying to keep eyes on what's happening. But I would like to motion for Chaz. I'm sort of like leaning back, trying to spot, and I'll wave over and kind of...
To get Chaz, you'll have to completely go back through the trees, head towards him and flag him down. You'll be... And this is already taken. Like,
Yep.
It was like a minute there, then through it. Like, you head back. He's probably already getting towards the door.
But Chaz is watching. As soon as he sees Katie, he's gonna...
Yeah, I will dart back to retrieve Chaz.
Okay. All right. You head back through the trees, and as you get onto the road and start to head towards Chaz, you've just put down a couple of bills, enough for the tip, and you're heading towards the door, pulling on your jacket. When you see Katie get back to the street, the two of you head towards one another, and you spot Father Dubois coming back along and heading towards the front door. Katie, what do? You're the one that's currently out in the road. Chaz, you're just heading. You could just head back inside and close the door.
Yeah, I think that's probably the plan. I'll head straight back in.
Okay. You're going to need to make I need a roll from you to get there quickly enough, because he will just see you in passing. I could take dexterity to just move quickly, otherwise some kind of skill test.
It's not illegal to walk into a cafe.
It's not at all illegal, but you will be spotted.
I think I'll push my stealth roll. Probably makes the most sense.
Okay. All right, go ahead and roll once more.
My best stat for it. Otherwise, no, it's better than my fast talk. Let's go for it. Oh, no good.
Okay. As you head out into the road and begin to make your way briskly moving, you get towards the doorway. You're heading across the road when Father Dubois comes back around, sees you moving. Chaz, you've stepped back inside, and he watches you go in. Chaz, you see him make Katie. He stands in the edge of his property for a moment. As Katie gets to you, you open the door and she steps inside, and then he turns away and heads up. He's clearly made you, but he doesn't call out and he doesn't say anything further. He heads back inside, and Chaz, you spot that he has a small bundle, only about that big,
With feet
something
poking out of it?
wrapped in. No, it's only that big. So like it's like football sized, and it's
Big tiny
wrapped
feet?
in wrapped in like parchment paper and bound in twine.
I think you mean brain-sized.
Yep, I could say brain sized.
Yeah, a sudden flashback to Houses of Horror, Mansions of Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you
Particularly
can watch
when you
at
made the-
youtube.com/Chaosium.
Particularly when you mentioned the feet.
Yeah, last time we saw someone walking out of a house with a bundle of something wrapped in butcher's paper. Didn't turn out so well.
Mm-hmm. All right. He heads
Yeah,
back
that wasn't
inside,
fantastic.
and what do the two of you want to do?
I think he saw you, Katie.
I think you might have. Okay. Well,
What was he doing at least? What'd you see?
there's a shed out there. Something at the
All right.
back. I mean,
Shed.
Clearly,
That's good.
doing some kind of work, maybe storing something, whatever he's taken now. But we missed the opportunity. That said, I want to get to that shed. Now that
We
shed
can get
is
in that
actually-
shed. We just sit and wait till he leaves, and then we let ourselves in. That's not a trouble.
Was that shed clearly on his property, or was it part of the adjoining property?
It's on his property.
Well, I don't think we've been spotted, so I don't think that there's an easy way for us to do this now. At least he knows he's not necessarily safe.
Yeah, it's going to put him on edge, and when someone's on edge, that's when they make mistakes. Good thinking, Katie.
I think we should leave. I think we don't
Aw.
want to, not just briefly. We don't want to. Look. He knows we're here. He thinks we're watching from this area. If we go now, he might guess we're still watching him, but he won't necessarily know how. I think we meet Seb one block over, get in the car, and then start the surveillance again. It's just changing angles. That's all.
Yeah, but if we leave now, we're not going to know when he leaves. So when we're getting into the shed, we're not going to know if he's there or not. Look, he saw you. Maybe he didn't see me. All right. Maybe you go. Maybe you go find Seb. Maybe I stay here.
All right.
Did he
that
see me?
sounds like a plan. I'll
Keep
try
on.
and catch one of the streets before he drives up.
Yes.
And then we can, then we can go from there.
He did see both of us though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
heck.
He saw Katie come to it. You opened the door, and he also saw that you were both in, like, watching from the cafe. I would work on the information that this location is compromised. He's
Very
loaded
good.
the two of you in here.
All right. All right. Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, he saw you wandering around. So maybe, I guess you should go, and maybe I'll find a different spot to watch.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
No, yeah. All right. That sounds good. I'll
Is that
head
what you
out.
said?
Well, basically,
What
let's
did you
just do a
say?
rotation.
Yeah.
I don't have the skill of me to understand how people do surveillance. I think Katie really doesn't either. So at the
There's another
basic
wrong way to
principle
do
is-
it.
Yeah, we don't watch from here anymore because here is bad. So we need to change location.
Yeah. All right. I like
Okay.
it.
Where are the two of you going?
Up a tree.
Okay.
Oh my God, I've got to find Seb. If you want to go climbing up trees, you absolutely can.
So what does going to find Seb entail?
I'm literally going to go and I'm going to try. I've got the map here. I will probably park at the bottom of the intersection a bit further down and hope that Seb will spot me on the
Seb's
way.
coming back with the car, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So you just go around the corner.
Yeah.
And prop up. It's cold out here, and you have to like shrink into your jacket, and you begin to watch cars coming and going. You don't recognize the car that Seb's going to be driving, so you're kind of just making yourself visible, but not towards the rears, and hoping that a coming car will spot you. Meanwhile, Chaz, you head out from the hardware store and begin to head up the street looking for a tree that you can clamber up. Most of these are on properties, and people are just, they're heading inside and they're eating dinner and stuff. So most houses are occupied, but eventually you find one towards the top that does have an eye line. Do you just, clamber up?
Yeah. As soon as
Okay.
no one's watching, just scuttle up.
Okay, go ahead and make a climb roll for me.
Oh, you gonna make me roll? Oh, I didn't know that was part of it. Heck!
Oh, nice.
you wait till no one's watching and then slip around so that the trees between you and the coming road, and begin to hike your way up it, finding a foothold at first, and then eventually somewhere you can wedge your ass in, and you've got an eye line on the fellowship center across the road. From below you can also spot, looking in towards an angle at a window, you can see a family. mother, father, and young boy sitting around a table beginning to eat their dinner. They look warm in there and full as you sit up here cold, and you never really got a chance to have dessert. Across the road, Dubois has entered, and you don't see anyone coming or going. Not for the moment, at least. Okay. Seb, as you're beginning to come through town and head towards, you will see Katie, but all three of you are going to notice something first. Just in front of Seb is a police vehicle. It looks as though at first you think it, because it's like it was behind you at first, and it pulls up alongside, and you think they might be, maybe you did something wrong. Maybe there's different road laws in Canada, but they go right past you. And just as you're turning into the street, you see Katie. You slow down to meet her, and then the cop car stops in front of the hardware store. And two patrolmen get out and head into the store. They have not necessarily, you don't know if they're looking for you, but they don't seem to have spotted you if they were. Seb, you pull up alongside Katie, and Katie, you know which tree Chaz is in. He mentioned not specific one, but you know which block he was going to try and get up on, so you reckon you can find him. What are the two of you? What's everyone doing, rather?
I got a good spot. I'm watching the building until someone says otherwise.
Okay.
I'll wave down Seb and try and load up into the car.
Done.
And then I guess we find a place and we park nearby, where we've got a good angle. And I'll explain what happened and suggest that those cop cars may be here for us.
Right. If they are, should we not go and say hello, given that, they know who we are? We do have permission to some extent to be looking around, keeping an eye on things.
We don't necessarily have permission to be sneaking onto property, but that might not be provable. How about rather than going straight over to them, we just make ourselves visible?
All right. I mean, is being visible to the cops also going to make us visible to the center?
You could just make yourself known to the police. I mean, you could just slow down outside, or you could just head inside and get a couple of coffees, and then if they talk to you while you're in there, then they talk to you. Is that the idea? Give them the opportunity to approach if it's about you.
I mean,
is that the idea?
It's cold. It's cold, and Chaz is a growing lad. He needs his food. Come on, let's go get something warm to eat and drink.
Yep. All right. Well, let's park the car around the corner just so it doesn't get made right away. But yes, let's go.
Okay. So Seb pulls up alongside, immediately parks, and then Seb and Katie, you both head inside. The bell rings as you approach and head to the counter where you order coffees. And whatever hot pastries they still have. There's a couple of policemen talking with a waitress just around the side, and as they do, the waitress looks over and clearly points at the two of you. The police turn around and then head towards you. Neither are ones you've met previously. They seem to be beat cops rather than detectives. And as they approach, they say in French, "Excuse me, could we speak to you for a moment?"
I will look across to Seb helplessly.
Of course, officer. What can we do for you?
We've had a complaint from the father just across the road. He says that the two of you and a friend are harassing him and sneaking about on his property. Is that correct?
We went to speak to the father in relation to the missing gentlemen, the ones who were found murdered. We are working with the detective DeGamo.
Okay, well, listen, you can't just be accosting him, okay? And you can't be sneaking about on his property this late at night. Look, these sort of things are best conducted in daylight hours. Why don't the two of you just go home, get some rest, and we can sort all this out? I don't want to be doing paperwork this late at night.
Of course, officer. However, we did not accost him. We spoke with the man and then we left. I'm not entirely sure what he's accused us of, but we have done nothing but talk to him, so...
Well, listen, the father was rather distressed. He said you made a scene, you were confronting him, you were harassing the people that he's trying to tend to. Understand, he runs a legitimate and important resource in the city, and if this sort of thing gets... You can't just go around making a nuisance of yourselves.
I find it very interesting that the man we were talking to in relation to the murder of a couple of people has gone ahead and blamed the three people who have been asked by the detective to look into this, or been given permission by the detective to look into this,
Look,
is now saying that we harassed him.
Are you going to
which
make
we
this
did
easy on me?
not.
Are you just going to head home? Or are you going to make this a
course.
thing?
No, we're going to adopt him, officer, but I would please ask you to reconsider the word of that particular gentleman.
I'll pass it on to the detective. I'll let him know what you've said, but look, just go home, okay? None of this is time critical. You can sort all this out in the morning. All right.
Yes, we can, officer. Forgive me, what was your name, officer?
He will be Detective Anthony. Not
Detective?
Detective. Patrolman Anthony.
Well, I mean, what's the French version of Anthony? Antoine?
Antoine.
Yeah.
Antoine.
Or just Tony with a French accent. I can't do one, so I wouldn't know.
20.
Bunny. Lovely. Of course, officer. We are just getting coffee and heading back. It is a cold night out, huh?
It is, and better to get home then. We'll escort you. Do you need a ride?
Of course. No, we have a car, thank you.
Okay. All right. They linger until you pay, and then they will walk back to their car and eye you heading back down the street.
Very good.
But once you're out of line of sight, they will tick that box. And if you want to just lurk around the corner and then head into your car, you will see the car depart.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't planning on driving away without Chaz anyway, so regardless, I was going to at least wait in the car until we had an opportunity to get Chaz.
Yeah.
Whether we stay or go, meh, I don't mind at this point. I think I actually have a point. Doing this all in the daylight is a lot easier.
So they head down. They depart. The two of you can get into your car, and I return it to the three of you. What do you want to do?
If we can reconvene with Chaz, I don't know if Chaz spots the action and then can come and meet us.
He saw the car. He's kind of like hidden at the moment. Up to
You're
you
gonna
guys.
have to come get him. Chaz has got comfy. He settled in for the night. He's got his
made a little
mission.
nest.
He's gonna watch that building.
I will say you're not particularly comfortable.
No, but he's convinced
for...
himself he is.
Okay, all right, good.
He's convinced himself he's like, some kind of spec ops soldier he's gonna do the mission. He's gonna do the recon.
Yeah,
That
this is still in the fun part of it. Once 15 minutes or
Mm-hmm.
more pass, it might shift. Yeah.
Is there a way to go and like walk under the tree where Chaz is without being obviously like spotted by what's his face? If I'm not looking to spy on the father and I'm just looking
Not
to go and speak
easily.
to Chaz.
It's kind of a tree like across on the property. No, not easily. Unless you're now sneaking along this other family's house and the kid looks out the window and goes, "Mama, look! Burglars!"
No.
Once again, Chaz is making things more difficult than they need to be.
I think Seb is going to just do what Seb does
Chuck
best,
rocks at him.
which is he sits in the car and he goes, I give him 15 minutes and I'm just going to wait because I know that in 15, maybe 30 minutes, Chaz's ass is going to get frozen to a fucking branch and he's going to be done with his shit and he's going to come down to the car. And if he isn't, I'm going to drive home.
He's stubborn. I think we might end up driving home.
Oh well, the walk will do him good.
It's character building. Can I let the dice decide?
Yeah, do you want to make a
roll?
I would say Constitution. Yeah. It's
That's
cold.
good.
It's cold up here. It is uncomfortable, but you have a jacket specifically for the conditions. You have like leaves around you, and it's actually not, the snow can't get on you here. There was like a couple of planks. I mean, not a full tree house, but they had kind of built it out for the kids. So you're as comfortable as you need to be.
No, that's not all I have. I also have a mission.
An objective.
With the 30-minute mark passes, I'm going to turn to Sam. He's not coming down. He's not going to come down until morning. This is...
It's all good.
Okay,
I'm not. I'm invisible. No one's gonna see me, and I'm gonna know when he leaves.
I think
Nothing to worry about.
I feel pretty bad about leaving him visible. Should we park somewhere or do you want to head back to the hotel? What do you think?
Look, I made it very clear that I wanted the police on our side, not that the two of you would get the police called on us.
Yeah, that was my mistake. I'm sorry. I spotted him doing something, and I shouldn't have acted. I should have waited. It was a dumb idea.
No, it was a good idea. You found information that we wouldn't have had otherwise. It's just unfortunate that now we're in a position that the police have been called. More my point is, Chaz is aware that the police have been called and that there is problems here. If he is decided that he wants to stay in that tree and watch the house regardless, then, well, I'm not his father. I don't care. If he wants to sit up that tree, he can. I would like to get some sleep.
All right, well, then I guess we head home. I guess once you've been wanted for murder once, a little bit of light nuisance isn't a big deal.
It's true.
I would prefer to know he's safe, but there at this point is no easy way to get to him without being seen again, and I don't think we want that. So if he's put himself in a position that we can't easily get to him, and he isn't going to come down, I, at this point, am not quite willing to stick my neck out that far for someone who has decided they would rather be up a tree for the evening.
Let's head home and go back to the hotel. I'll take the car maybe every hour and do a quick cycle, make sure he's still in the tree and that, nothing's changed.
Again, Katie, do whatever you think is best, but I need to rest. So.
Okay. All right. Homeward bound.
We leave.
Okay.
Wait, what?
You
We
head
leave
back.
Chaz on the tree.
Oh, that's fine.
You head back to the hotel. You could, drive out semi-regularly. You'd probably do every couple hours because every hour you're going to spend most of the time in the car and you might as well just be staying there. It's 20 minutes up and 20 minutes back or thereabouts. So 7, Katie, head back to the hotel. Is there anything further you want to do before retiring?
I go over.
I think I'm. Oh.
Okay. So Seb goes over notebook and then...
go over my notes, go over the notes I have on the spells, trying to memorize them. Just like I know I have memorized them, but just that repetition, looking over everything and like kind of mulling over the question of, is this just a copycat? And if so, how did they know what to copy? Is kind of what I'm mulling over.
Katie?
I plan to pretty loosely retire. What I probably do is I find where we're meant to park the car, or I park it down a street near the hotel, and I'll spend most of the time there, occasionally like doing a pass essentially around basically the outskirts of the town, just or nearby the hardware store, stopping there and then getting trying to sort of do that.
Okay, so it's about a 20-minute drive to the hardware store, then a 20-minute drive back each time. If you take the most direct route, what are you committing to here? Because at the moment, it's if you want to just keep circling around it, you might as well just park near there.
Right.
And try and sleep in the car is going to be, because you're not going to get sleep doing that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not getting. I'm worried about leaving Chaz alone. Katie's pretty worried for him, so she's going to forego sleep tonight. Yeah. I think that's the go. I will park somewhere nearby, far enough away that I'm not ideally that I'm not outside the priest's place stalking it, and then I will occasionally check that Chaz is still there.
So, and is that by driving past or just doing a walk?
I think the car's pretty visible. I probably get out until I have a line on the tree, and if I can just sort of see Chaz or give Chaz an opportunity to motion to me, and then I'll head back.
You can check the property, but I mean, you guys, if you go past and Chaz flags you down, you can easily talk. But at the moment, he is obscured.
Yeah, excellent. In which case, I will back the car. I just sort of do check-ins.
Okay. Every now and then, you get out of the car and walk a bit up the block, trying to stay away from the priest's house, but it's not a given that you don't get spotted. Chaz, do you flag Katie down at any point, or are you posting? What is your intent? Is your intent to stay up here and watch all night?
Yeah, because I want to know when he leaves.
Okay. Genuinely, at the moment, Katie is the most likely to get spotted, getting out and checking you. Do you want to just flag her down and say, "Come fuck off"? And let me stay here?
I'll throw a few rocks down, 2 pebbles. No, don't need pebbles or rocks in a tree.
It's like
throw a
pine
few
cones and
twigs.
shit.
Yeah, pine cones.
All right, I'll take the message. I'll head back and get half a night's sleep.
What do you say to her, Chaz?
I got this.
Fuck off! Fuck off! Okay.
You already been
Little
seen
birdie
once.
told me to go home.
Okay.
Don't risk it, Katie.
Got a fucking metagaming pigeon, except for us, it's a metagaming crow.
That was just Chaz. Okay. Okay. Did you head back then?
Yes,
Okay. All right. Get some sleep.
as best I can. I probably still miss a full night, but
It's all good. It's not that late. Seb and Katie both go over their notes and then retire as Chaz nestles down into a tree and takes watch for the evening. You succeeded that Constitution roll, which is the same one I was going to make you roll anyway. So the cold doesn't do too much, and also you manage to kind of stay awake throughout the night, keeping tabs every now and then, getting a little bit of sleep, and then waking when you hear a noise or see a flash of light. The family from underneath retires, and you see them go upstairs where they head towards the bedroom, and you can see the child is tucked in, and the mother and father both come in to say goodnight. At one point, the dad sits down and reads a story to the kid. It's all in French, but you do hear some of it coming through the slightly open window, and you're sort of like nestled in listening to French hungry caterpillars or whatever.
Oh, was it just as
What's the Little Prince? That's what I'm thinking of. That's more French than
Petit
Canadian.
Prince, yeah. No, there's my dad gave me like a computer program that was Goldilocks and the Three Bears in French, and it was like Mama Ours, Papa Ours, and Le Petit Ours. Goldilocks et les trois ours, and Bouclador et les trois ours, which is like all I remember from being fucking 7 and sitting down in front of. But there you go,
Yeah, give me that.
Bouclador et les trois ours is Goldilocks and the Three Bears in
Occasionally you
French.
hear Goldilocks, and you know that word. Can you make either a spot hidden or a listen roll, depending on your
You
strategy?
say power roll to avoid being moved
Being
to tears
wizarded.
when I see a happy family tucking in the child. at night.
you hear a chirping coming from the house. Caw, I can see you. Caw, I have a gun. Caw.
All right, I'm gonna listen.
Okay.
Yes, I hear all.
Of the Goldilocks story.
Yeah.
Eventually the kid sleeps, the parents retire, and the house goes dark. Down the road at Justine's Hardware, they close it up for the night, and although there's still like a faint lit sign out the front just advertising it, they head away as well, and one by one the street goes quiet. Across the road, the Fellowship Center is dark, and you begin to get some rest. A little bit of snow's built up that's trickled through the leaves, and you sort of hunch down amongst it with the hood pulled up on your jacket and your arms tucked in and around your chest. You drift off at one point, but you wake when an engine starts and a car across the road from the Fellowship Center is turning on. You blink open and sort of rub your eyes and look down at the street where you can see coming back to the vehicle, having turned on the engine to warm it up, given it's cold enough and they need to make sure it's going to start, comes Father Dubois and one of the homeless men from the center. You recognize it as the same man who introduced you to the priest when you first came in. They're walking across and they seem to be talking amicably as they head towards the vehicle.
Great. What time is it?
You don't know, but the moon is
come on,
high. It is early morning.
It's
like
I got myself a watch.
Okay, you're thinking. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, that's true enough. Oh yeah, you check it. It'd be like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Very suspicious. All right. Well, I don't have a chance to follow them on foot, so I'll just wait till they go.
Okay. All right. The car starts and heads away, bound south.
I'm getting in that shed.
Okay. All right. As soon as they leave, you make your way down the tree. It takes a bit to stir you back, but the adrenaline's pumping now, and you get down towards the ground. Snow's built up over the night, and you begin to crunch through it and across the road. Out here...
Make sure that don't leave any tracks. Sweep up the tracks.
Okay. All right, you step down, you see immediately your foot falls through, and you turn and kick it back a bit. As you get into the middle of the road, it's not that thick, but it's going to be hard not to leave any tracks. You could head around and then go through the trees towards the back of the house so that your tracks won't get made easily. Is that the intent?
Yeah, well, yeah, and also just like sweeping them around as best I can.
You'll then leave just kind of like a furrow of.
Yeah, it's true.
Like
I'll go as slow as necessary to obscure some tracks, and
Okay.
like go backtrack back and forth a few times. Yeah.
Okay.
Go careful.
You make your way, begin to move around, and this far out, I mean, like, this is a built-up town, but there's no, like, business district or anything to pollute the sky with a light, and so you can see quite clearly, just from the moon and the stars, those that aren't hidden behind the tall, dark trees of the mountains that rise up behind the Fellowship Center. You begin to pick your way through the trees on the side, having, left a trail, but you also kind of had it branch out in one point, and it looks more like a dog just kind of went for a run late at night, and then make your way through. All the lights are off inside, and eventually you get to the back where the shed stands stark against the white snow. There is clearly a gleaming padlock clicked in place over it, but the shed itself is rickety and old.
It's wood.
It's wood.
I could probably find the loose board if it's rickety and old and pry it open just so I can get in. Maybe like around the back, somewhere subtle.
Sure.
Where I can lift off a board and put it back.
This will be a strength check, and then mechanical repair to put it back in place as you actually hammer it down. And with time, neither of those should be an issue. So you get to the back and look down. You find one with a slightly loose nail, and there's a couple of boards that have been replaced. This has been repaired, but not all of it. It was a patch job, and you find one that can be pried back. Go ahead and give me a strength roll. It
Done.
breaks away from the nails, and then you get the whole board off with a successful strength in place, and then you're able to get another one back. It's just enough for you to squeeze through, and you find yourself in a very small tool shed. The door has clearly been replaced, but the rest of it is still older, and the ground just goes, there's a couple of planks rotten away, and underneath you can see the bare earth. This doesn't have foundations or anything underneath it. There are a number of shelves around, and amongst them you see a significant number of gardening tools, all new or newish. There is fertilizer for plants, although none appear to be being used. And additionally, there is a small sealed a medicine chest for first aid or something, but it's quite large, and it has been clamped shut, and it's clearly the heaviest, sturdiest thing in here.
Clamped shut.
Yeah, there's a small journal or the sort of thing that you would check in and check out things in it to the side.
Can I unclamp it?
Yeah. You head over and click it open and raise it. Inside, you find there is a bust of a head with a number of strange lines drawn all across it, like dots. It's a white bust with dots drawn along it, and then each section has then been numbered. So this would be 1A, 3C, 4D.
A bust or a head? A bust or a profile?
Made of bronze?
Maybe, am I getting the road wrong? I mean, it from here up of a head, like a statue,
Yeah,
but just
so
the
it's
head
a
bit.
phrenology thing.
Wait, it's instructions for how to perform brain surgery is what it is.
Or, yeah, depending. Or it's phrenology, because that's what they look like. But yeah, that's real cool.
And also what Chaz knows.
Yeah.
It's brain surgery instructions. It's a textbooks. I know what this is. What else is in there?
There's
Scalpels?
just that. There's
Saws?
no scalpels or saws or anything, but there's just the head. There are a number of permanent markers or similar things towards the side, which could be used for notations. And as you look at the headpiece, there are a couple of it's clearly been used regularly. There's smudges and thumbprints where someone with ink-stained fingers has inspected the shape and studied the angles.
All right. You said a journal.
Yeah. You head towards
It's
the
going to be in
side
French.
and
Oh no,
open
inky
the
fingerprints.
journal.
Those won't be helpful.
It's going to be in French.
It's not. It has portions in French, significant portions in French, but there's also a number of sections where it's just raw information, where you see what looks to be it written in code or just measurements. Could you give me an intelligence roll, I think? Or do you have any science skills?
I doubt it. Mechanical repair is a science.
It is not.
Operate heavy machinery is a science.
Again, no.
Psychology, is that going to help?
I don't think so.
Well, in answer to your question, no.
Look, Chad.
Accounting?
Fine. You can work it out. It's not brain surgery.
Yeah. It is rocket
sorry,
science.
I had the windows closed. I didn't see you roll. Because you haven't rolled.
Oh,
Have
did
you
I
ever
roll?
rolled? No, sorry.
Straight intelligence it is. No.
Okay. This is, you do not understand it immediately. That said, instinct is it's definitely tied to the headpiece, and that in turn seems to be tied to the Migo nonsense that you've found so far. What do you intend to do from here?
Case the joint carefully. So I've got the bust, I've got the journal. Do I take the journal?
Up to you.
I don't think so. I think I'm gonna, and then I think about Debussy and Katie, and I think, but not. What else have I got in here? Case the joint. Anything else suspicious, or is it's literally just gardening?
It seems to be a lot of
tools?
gardening tools, all new and only lightly used. Although some of the bags have been opened. There's some like hammers and nails and things, and the bust seems to be the thing of most note.
Yeah, but I don't think I can risk taking anything away. Is there anything small that someone wouldn't notice missing that's incriminating? Not really, I guess.
Not
Maybe a
particularly.
page from the journal?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to just reach through and just tear out a couple random pages?
Yeah, whichever. Yeah. How many pages? Not too many. Just one. Just make it look like an accident.
Okay. So you reach in and find one and tear it along the seams.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty hard to notice. And you also take one like in the middle towards the early section, the sort of place that probably wouldn't be checked. Yep, you take that, fold it over, and pocket it.
I guess that's it for me.
The only thing is that the suspicion that it could have been a brain that he removed previously. There's no cooling or anything in here that seems to suggest that any organs would have been. If they were in here, they were just like plonked on a shelf.
No blood.
No blood that you can see.
More wrapping paper
It's
and
winter,
twine?
isn't it?
It is winter.
So
It's still it's like wooden shelves and things. Like there's no bowl or anything for it either.
no. I'm more thinking like it could have been buried outside in the snow. I mean, if you don't have a fridge in a hotel room and you're in somewhere that snows, you put the stuff you need to keep cold outside your window because it's cold enough that it is pretty much a fridge. Like,
Makes sense.
it's
could have
possible.
been.
It
Neither
could have
Katie
been.
nor Chaz saw any signs of like recent earth being moved, and you might think that, and you have a look around the outside. There's no immediate sign of that. No, there's no sign of blood or anything.
Any more wrapping paper and twine?
Yeah. Towards the back, you'll find
There is.
bundled over. There's a like few reams of paper and a large ball of twine. The sort of thing you'd get at like probably Justine's across the road.
All right. Well, I'm happy to call it there. I got my journal.
Okay.
Got my scrapper journal.
Random sheets.
I will let myself out and obscure the evidence of me ever having been here
Okay.
flawlessly.
You head back and begin
complication.
to hammer back, or not even hammering because unless you wouldn't make a hammer. But you've got the cosh. You like get the nails back and jam back in. Do you want to give me a mechanical repair roll just to obscure your entrance?
Oh,
Well done.
nice.
Yeah.
Flawless. I had
Flawless.
a mission and it went off beautifully.
You then begin to backtrack your steps, brushing the snow back across it, and with the falling snow, it will obscure, and soon there's barely like a divot where you came from. You head back to the trees and across, and soon you are in the open again. What do you intend to do from here?
Get back to the hotel.
Okay. All right. It's going to be a long walk through the snow. And by the time you get back with all of this, with the early morning, people are beginning to head into work. And as you come into the hotel, you're like covered in snow. Your boots are muddied. You are fairly tired, although you're still running on the morning. And the person is just like opening up the lobby.
Well,
To
I might
welcome
as
people
well
inside.
have breakfast then.
To be honest. You head in as they're setting up everything, and you look. Actually, I would say you look like like you've gotten a jump on the day, but you look like you just walked through a forest, so less so. You'll be the first to arrive, unless there's anything further you want to do. The other two can join you for breakfast. Okay. All right. Seb and Katie, when you head downstairs to meet everyone for breakfast, Chaz is already set up. First to arrive.
So good of you to join me for breakfast.
You made it through. What happened?
Why didn't you ask this? I'll put out the journal page. No, seriously, can you ask this, Seb? I don't know what it says.
Seb's in the process of walking, like, towards the coffee thing and just, like, makes a very low kind of grunt sound and meanders over to get a coffee.
Well, all right, we're going to find out what it says in this. But I got in the shed. Didn't get seen. Didn't leave any traces. So, pretty successful night, I'd say.
You're a talented man, Chaz.
Oh, stop.
Can I flick through the journal?
Yeah, absolutely.
The single page.
Yeah, sorry.
From the journal.
You flip through it. It's done. You go back to the start. I think that was so good. I'll read it again.
I'll do a detailed reading, the one that takes several months.
Yeah, you begin. Reduce your sanity. Tim, go ahead and make an intelligence roll as you look through it.
Coming up.
Oh,
nice. Okay, yeah, looking through this, these are measurements, and from the size, they appear to be measuring something in 3 dimensions, and then notes with basically applied to like a cipher or like another matrix, which would then look up information pertaining to them, and then little handwritten scrawlings next to them in French. But they appear to be like just a rotation of like simple enough words. And once McCarthy comes back, you can quickly translate these. Actually, this will be a French roll because this is not necessarily common wording. It's specific things. You will draw the conclusion that Art/Seb made that this appears to be tied to some sort of phrenology, which is an outdated, although at the moment kind of trendy, I guess, pseudoscience, which allows you to measure brains and head shape to determine things like intellect, capacity for creativity, and also like ties to crime and criminal aptitude. It is complete hokum. And even at the time, Katie, as a scientifically minded person, you would have heard of this as kind of bullshit.
I performed the medical examination on the body. Can I link the measurements here to one of the bodies that I examined?
Great idea. This appears to be tied to one from a while ago. You find a date in there, which is like 3 or 4 years ago. But that said, you now believe that, yes, if you find a more current one or later in the journal, you will probably find those same measurements, which would be pretty damning proof.
We need to get that journal then.
Well, do we?
I mean,
maybe not, right? We know what's in the shed. Maybe we just need to point the police at it and say,
I think
what are you gonna find in there?
At this stage, takes a swig of coffee. Pascal gave us 3 options. One was to just leave. Because if this isn't related to the Migo, then our benefactor cares not. The other was to assist the police with their investigation if we considered that there may be Migo activity, and the third was to go off book, as it were. If this is related to phrenology specifically, that does give us the answer of why this person is cutting heads open. It's a pretty plausible explanation and doesn't need the Migo to be involved.
No, come on. I mean, what if this nut is into phrenology or whatever, and he thinks that is related to the Migo, right? He's drawn those connected those dots. He'd be like, oh well, phrenology. He gets into phrenology. He finds out some other folks are into cutting heads off. He gets into them as well. You can't deny it's probably all connected.
Actually, you can.
Well, you can, but you shouldn't.
Have we found any evidence of anything other than pseudoscience? Sorry, just for roleplay purposes, do we know the mythos is called the mythos at
You
this
can call it
point?
the mythos.
Great. I'll be like, yeah, have we found anything that suggests this is mythos related? At all?
Well, not yet, but it just means we haven't looked hard enough.
When we were in Cobb's Corners, some weird shit happened pretty early on. There was odd things from the beginning. Currently, the only weird thing we have here is some people died and their brains were removed, and now we have a plausible explanation why. I'm not entirely convinced that if we spend more time here, we're going to find anything other than some nutcase who thinks that people's skulls determine whether or not they're likely to be criminals, and he thinks he's doing the world a favor by taking them out early.
All right. And if it turns out you're wrong, can you live with yourself? Knowing that these creatures, knowing that these, aliens got another foothold up in Canada, that we just, lifted the rock halfway and went, no, it's just a rock. And then walked around, turned around. That stone is technically unturned.
Can you live with yourself if you push this and we all get hurt again?
It's part of the job, ain't it?
Not necessarily.
I'm kind of with Seb here. I think that Seb's probably right. It doesn't seem like there's any mythos relation, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't see this through, right?
Yeah,
even if it's
the right thing to do.
We still got we got a chance to stop a murderer. We should give the police everything they need to put the case to bed.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. We should absolutely let the police know. I just don't know that we specifically need to be involved anymore at that point. Look, I'm not against doing our due diligence and working out whether, there is something weird going on here. But from everything we've seen thus far, it doesn't really seem like this is related to the mythos. It sounds like this is some degenerate.
I think we go to Degamo. We say we have recovered clothing from the priest. We have medical evidence that the people who were killed were working on some construction project and were not at the mill, so probably the priest's property that he's redoing. We have evidence that the priest is a phrenologist. They'll find that bust with fingerprints. We have a journal. We have erratic behavior. In our expert opinion, it's absolutely him, but we hand it over to you now. And if that's not enough for them to move on, maybe we stick around and help them get one more thing.
Yeah, but what if I don't know. What if they just take what we got and say thanks very much and then nothing happens?
Then that's not our problem.
Well, no, it's not technically our problem. Neither is the Migo technically our problem. We could just, pack our bags and move to South America if we wanted to. But we found ourselves in this position with the Migo, so we're gonna help. We found ourselves in this position in this town with people going missing, so we're gonna help. We either help or we don't, and we're already helping. So let's not just run straight to police, tail between our legs right now. Let's finish the job.
The Migo are our problem because they came after us personally.
I guess
This
one more piece of
psychopath.
evidence couldn't hurt.
I don't think we should be doing this without letting the police know. We are not renegades. We're not superheroes. We're just people trying to make sure that other people don't get hurt either by things they don't understand or things that are easily understood but just a bit odd. But I'm not for putting my neck out for something that is not related to the thing we came here to do, which is find Migo activity. There does not appear to be any. So I'm all for speaking to the police. I'm all for assisting them and pointing to a shed and being like, that's where you're finding the weird shit that this guy was up to. But parse that. we're here for the Migo, and currently they ain't here.
I just don't think it's right.
Morals don't have a place in politics, and at this point we're playing politics.
And listen, I think
we lost you there, Jim. You say it again.
Oh no, I didn't say anything. I was coaxed into silence by the profundity of the words.
To throw one more wrench in,
no.
Pascal will come down, and given that you gave him an update yesterday, we'll ask for another update. Is there anything that you hide?
Nope.
Okay.
But unless someone tries to make me, no, I will lay out exactly what Seb said to these two and lay out exactly what he thinks is going on, with the caveat that we still can't say for sure the Migo are in no way involved. We just have found no evidence thus far.
Okay. At this point then, Leon is going to say, it sounds as though if there is any presence, it is far divorced from the aliens themselves, and this priest is acting on old, interpreted information. This is no longer a priority for Federated Oil and Chemical, and I spoke with Mr. Abelard last night. If there are no ties to the mythos, you're to return to Arkham and prepare for Vermont. At this point, sorry, no, is there something? Yep, go ahead, Jim.
Can we speak to the police first and tell them what we know?
You have time to pack your bags. We'll have a train ready soon. If you want to speak to the police, make it quick. At this point, I kind of want to step away. I want to basically talk to each of the characters, I suppose. If you tie this to the mythos, you can possibly hang around and look into this. I want to know, kind of like a peek behind the curtain, do you see this as your problem? Are you going to risk hurting yourself to deal with this? Or do you kind of kick it back to the police, let them solve it? Or do you just go, this isn't mythos, we have, we're on another scale of issue at this point?
Who wants to start?
Chaz is just looking for an excuse to be a big action hero and save the day. He's got that in his head that's what he's here to do. He was sent here by a secret organization with, he's got resources, he got a pile of money, he got some weapons, he got a car. He wants to take advantage of it. He's got all his cool toys and he wants to play with them. Not what he's, maybe that's not what he's consciously aware of, but that's what's driving it.
Yeah, at the base.
He wants to get out there and smash some skulls.
Okay, rock and roll.
We finally found the skull to smash. Now we gotta go home? That's bullshit.
Speaking for Katie, I don't think she'd mind putting herself in danger to try and help out, but I think that she respects her fellow investigators' perfectly reasonable objections to throwing themselves at risk. And also, the people of Latouk kind of have the right to deal with the problem themselves as well.
Mm-hmm.
They might not necessarily want people taking vigilante action in their town because kind of its own thing, right?
Okay. Seb?
There is a thick tome full of mysteries that is currently sitting in a locked box, in a safe, in a bank, in America. That has far more information about what is going on in the world than what we're seeing right here, and Seb is impatient to get back to learning things about the world.
Hell yeah.
He is not interested in the mundane passions of man.
Okay. All right. Leon says that if you want, you can have time to inform the police, but with no evidence found, after investigation of a journal of the house and speaking with the priest himself of any ties to the mythos, Mr. Abelard would like you to return to Vermont and begin preparations. Okay. He'll head upstairs. And what do the three of you want to do?
Something stupid.
Yes. Keep us here. Do it. I really want someone to go and find it. Like, I as art would love there to actually be mythos stuff here. It's just Seb is like, we have found nothing. This is a waste of time. All we're doing is like letting the Migo do shit elsewhere while we're over here fucking about.
Sounds like we've got about half an hour, Chess.
Chaz is gonna steal the car.
Okay, so
And hope that in the time it takes him to do that, he's gonna figure out where he's going.
Okay, so does Chaz just get up from the table and say, I have somewhere to be? Okay.
No,
And
it
walks.
doesn't even say that. Not even gonna say anything.
You just get up and leave?
Yeah.
Okay. Chaz gets up and leaves, heading back towards the lobby. Seb and Katie?
I'll turn to Seb and say, I'm so sorry, and then follow after Chess.
Oh, Seb is in his room packing things. Like, you do not need to involve him at all. If you do not wish to tell him what you're doing, he is doing his own thing and could quite happily will open a door and be like, oh no. At some point, like, that's fine.
When you see smoke rising in the distance. Okay.
Open it, like, look out the window and be like,
Okay.
and then
so-
like, I will pack my things and then I will go downstairs and I'll like post up in like a chair somewhere where I can see the front door, but also where I can see reception because I know there's a phone.
Yep.
And I just have my cane and I'm just kind of wrapping my fingers on the top of it, just waiting for something.
Okay. Awesome. All right, Seb begins to pack and then posts up. Chaz and Katie, you head out towards the car, and Katie, with a couple of quick footsteps, you quickly catch up, matching speed, and the two of you head in. Chaz slides into the driver's seat, sparks the ignition, and then begins to pull out onto the streets of Latouk. Only when you round the corner do you realize you don't exactly know where you're headed. What's the plan?
All right. Here's the thing. Okay, so we got a little taste in what was in the garden shed, but we don't know the full story, right? The full story, that house in the woods. We don't know where that is, do we?
No, I
in-
don't think we do, but I think I know how we can find out.
How do
Out
we
of
find out?
character, we know it's...
I reckon we...
Well, actually, no. Out of character, we know that he headed south with the homeless guy, so there's a chance.
I think that street is genuinely... No, it's not a one-way street. Yes, and also the bulk of the town is towards the south, so it probably is south.
I think that the stuff in there, I don't think that the priest wants that to get found. I think that Dubois will try and hide some of that stuff if the police start coming in and searching. I think we call the cops, call in a tip. Hell, say we're breaking into the property to drive them all in. He'll try and evacuate all of his stuff, and then we can follow him to his place out in the woods.
Oh, I like it. All right, that's good. Also, I splashed a lot of cash at the place yesterday. Maybe some of those folks can remember me. Alternatively, maybe we start with one of them and see if they know, because you know the folks at the center, right? They were the ones helping with the construction. We established that, right?
Well, some of them at least, the ones that were
Well,
dying.
all right. Let's start there. Let's see if we can shake some info out of them first, and then I like it. As soon as it goes south, let's call in the cops and scramble him.
I reckon let's start the process now. I'll go find a phone booth.
All right.
You go start
All right.
talking to people. Then
I like it.
you got about, 15 minutes before the cops come.
All right, synchronize your watch.
Yep.
I don't know
wait
what
for
that
you.
means, but it sounds cool.
It means give me your watch. And
Oh, okay.
and I'll wait for you around the corner and pick me up there. We'll try and follow the car once it gets driven out.
Okay. All right. You both pull up and park in front of Justine's Hardware. As you do, Chaz, you notice that the car that left last night has not returned. There is a phone inside.
All right, so you go on the phone. I'm gonna go see if I can find someone who speaks English and somebody splash some money around.
The guy that you spoke to last time, as soon as you pulled out the money, you recognized spoke English. However, he is also the one that left with Dubois last night. So he's probably not back yet. All right, so Katie, you head inside. Who are you calling?
Well, if the car's not there, then he's not there to evacuate all his stuff. So this feels like it won't necessarily work.
Not yet.
no, I might park here and sit in the cafe and hold for the minute while Chaz goes and does research.
Okay, you park and you're watching the street. Anyone comes or goes, and Chaz, you head upstairs, and when you knock on the door, it's not answered, but it is unlocked. You can head straight in.
All right, I do so.
Okay, you enter, and you can see some of the men inside are gathered. There is to his left, there is a place where where am I going with this? Where prayers are done, where he was given the speech the first time he came in. There's a better word for that. Anyway, there's a few people like sitting in chairs, like those folding chairs, looking up and waiting, but the priest isn't there to give his morning address. The kitchen towards the back has not been started for the morning, and people are kind of milling around. As you can see, they're grumbling about something. As you come inside, people give you like a sly look toward, like, confused and slightly suspicious, but you can kind of stand amongst them.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll get everyone's attention. Hopefully some of them remember me as, handing out
money.
some,
actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, sorry.
bills
Actually,
yesterday.
it's probably less suspicious then. It's probably as you come in, you'll get like a friendly, like, hey, in French. And you can quickly, someone who speaks English will come up. He's heard you talking English, and he'll come up and he'll say, hey, we spoke to you yesterday. You speak English, right?
See. I mean, yes.
Hey, do you know when the father's coming back? Breakfast didn't happen this morning. I mean, we're waiting for prayer or everything, but there's been nothing.
Right. No, I don't know where he is, but hey, that's why I'm here as well. I was hoping to find him. Listen, some of you folks have been helping him with construction work somewhere, right?
No, none of us have been offered. I asked if he had any work for me, and he just said nothing. Didn't seem I was suitable. Right,
not you, but some other folks that were here?
Yeah, there was a guy a week or so ago that did some work with him, and just last night he left with one of my buddies, but they haven't come back yet, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, all right. Well, do you know anything about the kind of work he was doing? I mean, anything at all? Any idea? Your friend said where he was going, or what he was planning for, what he was preparing for?
No, I mean he just said he got lucky, got a paycheck coming, and Dubois was happy to take him out. Listen, I don't know where they're headed, but are we supposed to wait here? Is he gonna come back? Maybe. I mean, I can't. I can't read, but there's something in his office or something that you can help us out with.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's good. Let's start there. Hey, what's your name, by the way?
Joseph.
Joseph. Chaz.
Nice to meet you, Chaz.
Well, yeah, let's take a look-see, shall we?
Okay. He pads across the floor towards the office, and pushes the door open, swings across like a lusher carpet than the rest, and inside he begins to look slightly nervously around. He goes, I don't feel like I'm not supposed to be in here.
Well, look,
Especially
if the
without the
father's in
father.
trouble, he'd want us to look around and see what we can do to help, right?
Yeah, okay. All right. Let me know if you find anything, I guess.
Well, you could help.
Yeah, again, I can't read.
Yeah. Come on. Let's it's just a start. Anything that looks interesting.
All right.
Address. You know what an address looks like? It's a number and
Yeah.
then.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
Let's
I'm gonna look
start
for a
with
map.
that.
Okay.
That's great.
Can you give me a spot hidden roll?
Come on, Chaz.
Yes. You want 3 points for hard?
No.
You get 3
And
points
go
for
ahead and
hard.
actually roll with a bonus dice, just because you are being helped.
Oh.
There's your heart. You go through a couple of.
You want 8 points for an extreme? 8 points for an extreme?
This will get it for you. You go through a couple ledges. He has there's like accounting for the like running this whole place. Then there is a you find down towards the back. There is a deed to a property. There are actually deeds to 2 properties. One of them is a nicer one closer inside of town, and then another one is on the outskirts. It's an old, slightly like rundown fixer-upper. It's billed as. You have both addresses. It appears that this is where one of these will be where he is headed. You imagine, at least.
All right. Well, thanks, Joseph. I'll take it from here.
Okay. Is someone gonna like come to get us started here, or should we just?
Yeah. Well, you get started. I'm sure your father would want you to, 2, 4, 6, 8. Dig in, don't wait. There you go. There's your grace. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Also, yeah, he heads out towards the kitchen and talks to some of the others, and then you come down the stairs. As you hurry across towards Katie, Katie, you see Chaz is holding aloft a letter. He has the address.
Once I get
All right, I got it.
Good. Once I get told.
You might want to go ahead and call the police anyway. Maybe bring him in there. The father's not here, but at least they can get to the garden shed before he gets back.
Yeah. I will make use of the phone. I will also speak to Degamo.
Yeah, it takes a while to ring through, and then you hear, Degamo.
Hello, detective. The murderer, the person behind it, it's Father Dubois. Go to his property, the mission. You'll find a shed at the back that contains his fingerprints all over a bunch of phrenology equipment and a detailed journal containing the measurements of lethal experimentation he has done. And I will relate all the information through.
He tries to stumble over and ask clarification. Do you just go that's all I got?
No, I say the whole thing and then click and all done.
Hell yeah. Can you make a persuasion test for me, please?
Oh, here we go. Can I? It's a stretch. Can I genuinely say fast talk? There's no time, and I tell him another thing.
This is persuasion. You're getting the information across regardless, but this is persuasion.
It's talking fast.
It is talking fast, but it is not fast talk. The information's been had. He tries to interject a couple times. You've said it to him. He will investigate. You have told him, hey, we think we might find a murderer, but it's going to take. Okay.
Yeah. I tell him everything. I hang up. That's the best.
You can hear him going wait, no, is Wilkes to hang on? And then as you click up, he's still trying to get out questions and things. Surely over at the police house, they're currently trying to go back and figure out what exactly you're pointing them towards. But you hang up, and what do you want to do from here?
We got to get to the property, right?
Whoever he took with him is in danger.
Yeah. Look, I mean, we got to go straight there, but I'm happy to stop by the hotel, give a certain someone one last chance to see the light.
One more call.
One more call.
Can I call the hotel and ask for a message to be left to Seb's room saying there will be a car downstairs in 2 minutes kind of thing?
Okay, yeah, awesome. Seb, you see, as you're waiting in the lobby, the phone rings and one of the people heads over and answers. You hear, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then hangs up, writes a couple things or thing, and then walks across towards you. They pass you a note which says, a car is going to be waiting for you shortly, sir.
Any other information, or just a car?
No, sir, just a car. I have the number. They called from Justine's Hardware if you'd like me to call back and confirm.
No. Could you please put me through to the police station?
Of course, sir. Also, your taxi to the train station will be here shortly.
Thank you.
Not an issue. They head back and go over. They will dial, and then they say, I have the police for you, sir.
Thank you. And then I will ask to speak to Degamo.
Okay. You get there, and as soon as you go to the basics, you hear, Mr. McCarthy, I just got a very... Are you with Miss Wilkes?
No, not presently, although I have some inkling what specifically you were told, but do please let me know if I can fill in any blanks.
Well, if you're not with them, I'm a little concerned. I got a rather alarming phone call saying that Father Dubois may be the one that killed these men. They said I'd find some evidence in the back. I'm just speaking with the boys here. We're gonna have someone go around and call shortly and ask to speak with the father, but I'll be honest with you, sir, I'm worried your friends might be about to do something a little rash.
Knowing them, quite possibly. However, we do have reason to believe that the father is involved for a few reasons, not least of which we found some fabric that quite closely matches the clothing he wears near where one of the bodies was discovered, which is not ideal for him.
Do you want to try and pitch the same thing? Do you want to effectively push Katie's persuasion roll with your own?
That's so cool.
I do, but I kind of want to be able to use my luck, but I'll push it.
It's a push. I think this is the same thread.
Very good. I will do my best. What penalty for failure is just
penalty for failure is I think it's at the moment it's just they're a little bit confused. I think pushing this is you are clearly like saying, yeah, we did, you know, we pushed the investigation. It might be like, hey, you guys can't leave town. I need you to come in and deal with all of this. And you will be like legally told to not look into this, come into the police, and let's talk this out and figure out.
We may have a warrant put out.
If it's technically a push, does this technically mean that we're both working on it, therefore it's assisted?
No.
To be fair, I don't hate that because you as the keeper have said you've got an evac.
Yeah,
It's true.
So, all right, let's
Flee the Canadian
see.
police.
Oof.
The Mounties
Can
coming out.
Seb be persuasive, or is his exasperated "oh god, why" gonna come through? Let's find out together.
Oh no!
Oh no! Got like a boost roll.
Okay. As
That's
you're saying that,
infuriating.
you're on the phone, you see Leon Pascal come downstairs. He was helping to bring your luggage out to the thing. He noticed that Katie and Chaz aren't here and he's looking around as over the phone, although he can't hear it, you're looking right at Leon as you hear over the phone. All right, Mr. McCarthy, look, I'm sorry, you cannot continue with this investigation. I need you to get your friends and come down to the station now. Do not leave Latouk. I am concerned for your own well-being and for this investigation. Come down now. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll see you shortly. Do not leave Latouk. Okay. And he hangs up. Leon looks across at you and says, are we ready to go?
I will relay what has happened in full.
He goes, okay. Actually, he doesn't look that exasperated. He goes, okay, all right, where are they?
They will be here shortly.
Okay, the police are going to be at the station. We get in the car, we go to the train station. We can get out of here before they catch us. Let's go now. As this happens, the car does pull up out the front. What are the three
Sorry.
doing?
Awooga.
Honk honk.
I will walk up to the car, tell the two of them what happened, and go, there is a train waiting for us to leave.
Actually, you know what? Honestly, the train would probably... the police could call ahead and stop it really easily. I think he's actually going to say, I'll pay for the car, we're buying it, and we're leaving. We'll drive. They won't have set up roadblocks or anything. We can just leave. This isn't high enough pressure, and we will salve this later.
I do think there's a moment of panic where, as we're sitting waiting for Seb, Pascal comes out too, and it's kind of like, oh no, we're
Do you continue
rumbled.
just...
Yeah. I don't think we want to derail the scenario that much.
I want you to.
Derail the shit out of it, man. That's point of role-playing games is there's no rails.
I'm not driving, and
Try to
Pascal
suck her off
comes
the
out.
edge.
Yeah, Pascal's coming out with me.
Seb comes out first and says it as Pascal's helping with the things. He then comes out with one of the lobby boys with like that trolley thing piled up with all the suitcases and things. He pushes it out and he begins to load trunks into the car. He's actually probably not going to come with you. He's going to stay here. Actually, genuinely, sorry, I kind of as we're going on, I'm thinking of it. His thing as the lawyer and here to basically like deal with problems. He will load everything into the car. He's going to help Seb in when possible, and he's going to say, leave now. I'll stay here. I'll speak with the police, and I will smooth this over as best I can. Regardless, a plane is waiting for you in Quebec. Leave from there. It will fly you across the border, and you won't be stopped by any authorities.
Okay, we'll go, and then as the door shuts and we go to leave, I'd like to turn to the others and say, we're just going to make one stop on the way.
Agreed. And Chaz is driving.
Yeah, I think Seb like gets in the car fully knowing what's going to happen and just goes, drive on, Dedrick, drive on.
And then from Pascal's perspective, you know, the car goes to the end of the street and then turns in the wrong direction.
No. You damn kids.
I mean, I feel like he knew that was coming as well.
I think 100%. I think he sees and he just goes back inside. Actually, he probably will leave and head down to the police station shortly after to stall them out. He will deal with the problems as they come.
He's a fixer.
He's a fixer.
Thank goodness we have one.
All right, you head out onto the streets and begin to pick your way through, heading towards... are you heading towards the property that seems to be listed as his house, or the one that is on the outskirts and is the sort of the more rundown one?
We're going to the lair in the woods. That's where we have the most success in these scenarios. We go to the creepy house in the woods.
Okay. All right, you begin to head towards the outskirts, and then you get to the end of a road where there is a dirt track which heads up and towards the woods. Turning off here, you will sort of leave like Latuk proper and begin to drive through the woods a little ways.
Please explain what it is we are actually doing here.
We're gonna find out exactly how deep this guy is into the mythos, and we're gonna root it out.
We're going to try and save that person that he took, and maybe we can get there before the brain gets cut out.
All right, and if we save the man, then what?
Pat him on the back. I think we still got one of the sandwiches left, and then we drive the hell down to Quebec.
If our aim is
Once Dubois is not gonna hurt anyone else.
No. I'm not killing a man.
We don't need to kill him. We just need to stop him
Just
from
need to stop him.
knocking out, tie him up.
And know for sure why he's doing it. All right? You keep saying we haven't found any evidence of mythos. That doesn't mean there ain't any. Yeah, we just haven't found it yet. You know, can't disprove a not negative, whatever.
All right. I will give you this. If we have an opportunity to find out what's going on, we take it. If we do not, and it is a choice between us getting hurt and finding out what's going on, we save the man and we get out.
Fine.
Makes sense to me.
Okay. The car begins to wind through the woods, tall, dark trees on either side. Midday, but most of them block out the sun. And eventually you stop on the outskirts of a two-story property. Old, falling apart, and signs of like very basic repairs beginning to be underway. There's a couple of piles of like bags of like sand off towards the sides, some stacks of lumber, but they haven't been really protected from the weather, no tarping or anything, and they've already, even though they were probably new not that long ago, they've begun to like fade and like splinter apart. As you came in, you parked the car a little ways away and off the road so it won't be heard easily. What preparations, what do you want to make, and how do you want to approach? Remembering that two of you do have pistols, and then two of you have koshas, and Seb has a cane, which has been sort of like weighted for weaponry. What do you guys want to do? There is another, the other car is still there, parked just in front of the door. The door is closed. Dubois' car. The door is closed. All of the windows appear to have had like maybe they're painting inside, so there's like cloths up on the windows.
No, we've seen that before. All right. Well, first we'll orient our car so it's ready for a quick getaway.
Okay, like back it in and
crunch
on the ground.
Before we do that, I was even saying, do we want to just straight up, straight in? Like we could drive as far as we can, get up, run straight in, just speed this. Whatever this guy is, I think that we have the advantage probably of there. He seems to be working alone.
I like it. All right. Yep. Katie's speaking sense.
Quick question.
Yep.
Does my armor allow for casting on multiple people? Or is it one only?
Flesh Ward one.
Armor of the will.
Let's see.
Oh no.
There might be a deeper version that allows it. But
I imagine it would be each time you do it, you can choose a different person. I'm just pulling it up now.
It says specifically in the information you've given me, it once cast, a spell may not be reinforced with further magic points nor recast until the old protection has been used up.
I'd say you can use it on someone else. That's fine.
Okay.
So
but I would have to cast it like 3 times.
Yes. And remember, the first time you cast a spell, you have to make a hard power roll to successfully cast it.
You haven't cast any spells before, have you?
Nope.
Oops.
Not yet.
Wizard time.
Yep.
So Katie's pitching that you go up fast. Chaz, you're in the drivers, and Seb is considering casting some.
Seb is just like in his head. So continue.
Oh, also, sorry. Casting time is. Hang on, we might have to do this. Casting time is 5 rounds.
Yes, I know.
You could have done this on the drive.
I know that I could. It's more, I don't think Seb thinks about it until we start to pull up. So like, if he does it, it'll be as we approach.
Okay.
for like, you know, the 5 rounds that it
So,
takes to approach.
What are you
but-
guys doing?
Katie wants to go through the front door. I'm not hearing any notes of dissent, so here we go.
Okay. So as you begin considering to pull around, you instead jam down on the accelerator and the car lurches up over a small garden bed and begins to roar across it. You head towards, you could smash the other car out of the way and probably do some damage, or you could just drive it in towards the front door, or you could just like swerve to a stop just in front and all pile out as quickly as possible.
I'm gonna do a skid. Gonna go right at the front door and then like, and then orient the car away so we're ready for a quick getaway, but we can just like pile out. It's gonna be excellent, and I've never done it before.
Make a drive auto roll. That does sound excellent.
All right. Another fumble.
You like jam over it, the whole thing lurches a bit, it slides in the snow. You do the sweet skid, but it is not oriented for an exit. You'll have to get in and get it going. You don't have a bonus.
I do
but
like a
you're
full
fine.
360 and end up facing the same way.
Like
through
on
the
ice
snow.
skates.
Yeah.
The car stops and all of you pile out. There's no sound from inside immediately, but you're all moving at speed. What is everyone immediately doing? What do you guys do?
Front door, I think.
Kick it down.
Straight through the front door.
All right, Casey on
Yeah.
front door. Sit Chaz.
Take it down.
Seb.
Mumbo jumbo.
Zippity zap.
Yeah, I think Seb is just gonna go. Hang on, quick. Yeah.
And just mumbo jumbo.
I
Yeah.
think it'll be the first time
Okay.
we've seen you cast.
I
Yeah.
think Chaz and Katie probably don't see Seb cast. My instinct, you both power out of the front, like the driver's and passenger seat, and race up the stairs. You don't even necessarily notice that Seb's not behind you for a moment or two. And Seb seated in the back seat, I imagine eyes closed and clutching your cane. What does it look like as you begin to invoke this spell?
Takes 5 rounds, which is about 30 seconds.
Yep.
I think he white knuckles the top of the cane and then like repeats whatever the incantation is a few times, and then because the cane is carved with all those runes, I like to think that even though it probably like it doesn't mechanically work this way, this is how I'd like it to work for Seb, he just lifts the cane up and like smacks it on the ground and a little happens from like
yeah.
the top, and he has a freak out. There's a small moment where he's like, oh fuck, that worked. Yeah, so I would like to attempt to cast Armor of the Will just with just one magic point,
Oh my goodness.
just to see if it actually, because this is Seb testing the waters.
Okay.
Seb is a
Don't
bona
roll
fide
yet.
wizard.
So in the back, you begin to just occasionally and rhythmically jam the
Oh, it's at the end when he finishes. He'll
Okay.
smack it and like hope that something happens, and well, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
All right, you begin to invoke the spell, rising up the cane, and channeling the energy around you, as meanwhile Chaz and Katie storm up the stairs. As soon as you get to the front, Chaz plants a boot in it and it splinters open, exploding into the interior, and revealing a small room, which is followed by a large open plan like kitchen area with a couple of random boxes scattered around, many draped under cloths which dust gathered around them. You can see a discarded hammer and a few nails, as well as an open bucket of paint with no skin yet formed over it. It's clearly been pried open recently. A roller is to the side and one of the walls has just begun to be painted white, but only half done. As you come inside, you can smell like the fumes from the interior. Towards the back, there is a storeroom, and then there's a set of stairs which head up. There is also a low door underneath the stairs, which presumably leads down to a basement. What do you do?
I think Chaz is running for the basement. I was going to say, I guess I was going to make a listen check to try and hear, but if I see Chaz go, I'm going to follow Chaz.
Okay.
Come on, it's always the basement.
Chaz, you rush over to the basement. It's not locked or anything. You can open the door, and down you can see there is a set of stairs which curves around the corner. There is no light from down below that you can tell. Okay.
That's all right. He's doing it in the dark.
Click on a torch. You guys can have torches at this point. That's within your range. You had your full suitcases
Fantastic.
with you. Click on a torch and begin to head down the stairs. Have you drawn your pistol or your kosh?
Yeah. I'm inclined to fire that as a warning shot as soon as possible.
Okay,
As soon
Katie,
as I
what are you
see
doing?
someone to warn.
Katie, what are you doing?
Apologies. Yes, I've done the same. I'm following caution gun in hand, ready to go.
Okay, you both begin to head downstairs and into the basement, moving quickly but cautiously down the stairs. They creak with each step, and then you emerge out into an under area. There's one low window which looks outside, but it too has been like tarped over. And down here you can see a number of boxes all scattered around, very dusty and fallen apart, and no immediate sign of anyone down here. As you get to the lowest level and Chaz begins to swing his light around, you can see dust particles floating through the air. It does not look as though anyone's been down here in some time. Not immediately, at least.
Damn it. Up.
Go. Upstairs.
Okay. You begin to head, storm back up the stairs and out into the open room. From
Taught
here...
this guy to be a criminal cultist. You gotta do it in basement. We're dealing with an amateur here.
You head for the stairs or for the back room? Stairs up or run towards the back?
Oh, I guess we'll check the back room just to make sure.
All right, you begin to head across towards the back room, and at this point, I need Katie to make a listen roll.
Just me?
Just
Katie?
you.
Just Katie?
Hard success on it when I don't have a great listen skill either.
Give that an almighty tick.
Yeah.
And I am contesting it, so give me a.
Would you
I'm
like
gonna whisper.
four
I'm gonna
points of
whisper.
luck for an extreme?
I'm gonna whisper it, and then you can decide.
Would you?
Go on.
I mean, I'm very happy
Go
to
on.
have
Go on.
4 points of luck
Now's
for an
the
extreme.
time. Do it.
Yeah, I
Do
will 4 points of luck for an extreme.
it. It's extreme. David, it's extreme. Get out of town. It's fine. It's extreme.
Well, not if they're old and extreme.
Okay.
Or do I do another 3 points to get a crit? No, it's extreme.
Okay. You begin to head round. Chaz, you get to the back door, and as you push it open, this is like what will become a kitchen / like storage and things. There's a covered stove which hasn't been used, and some loose like piles like bean tins and things that have been opened up and scattered about. There's no immediate sign of anything, but as you come back inside and head into the room, Katie has stood and is like holding her like finger crossing as upstairs. Katie, you have just made out on the very edge of her hearing the creaking of footsteps as someone moves round and then goes still. There's someone moving up there, and they've just stopped moving as they attempt to hide. But you know what room they're in. They are directly above you.
In which case, I'll also point directly above, mouth right there, and then I'd like to sneak up as well if we're playing hide and seek.
Okay, so you're going to creep up. Chaz?
Yeah, I like this. Follow Katie's lead.
Okay, can both of you make stealth rolls?
And then probably mouth. Don't forget Sam.
Stealth rolls?
Yep.
Hard success
Okay.
on me.
Katie begins to walk up quietly. Chaz a little bit louder, but further behind, and Katie gets to the top level. From here, you can see 2 doors open, as well as a window which looks outside. Thinking, Chaz mentioned where is Seb. As you're going past, you're able to pry back the cloth ever so slightly and see out to the car, where just now there's the faintest light seems to be emanating from the back seats. Back downstairs, Seb, can you please make a hard power roll?
Here we go.
Okay.
You got 41 points to luck, right?
Not spending
Why
it
not?
on-
Why not?
I can spend a point to make it not a failure, but I'm not spending
No,
a
you
fortune.
need the hard. So I'm just getting to the page with the casting nonsense. Gotta give.
That's all right.
The tension.
I know it's
It's palpable.
I'm going to start flicking through my Call of Cthulhu just so I can feel.
Just
I
to
can
see if
feel
you can
it.
find
Look,
something else.
currently the
Found
spell
it.
has
Help it.
failed, and that's fine. I feel like it's gonna take Seb a little while to work this shit out, so it's cool. Like, from this didn't work quite as I was expecting. Damn it.
So that's right. So here's the thing: you can fail this. If you want to attempt casting it, you need to restudy it. Otherwise, anytime you attempt this spell in future, it basically counts as a pushed roll.
Yeah.
Noting that if you fail the pushed roll, the spell still casts, but there are additional effects that may occur.
Oh boy.
So right now, you could attempt to push it. Alternatively, you can yield on the spell.
We are not at a point in the campaign where I would like horrible things to happen to Seb because he's pushed himself that far. So I think Seb, like, is there enough that he goes, that could have worked? Like, he still gets that little, shit,
100%.
and maybe like scares himself out of it.
You begin to, it's because this spell, although it's manifestation of will, does also have a physical appearance. You begin to feel your skin, like around your knuckles, beginning to bubble up as the skin thickens outwards. It's enough to kind of throw you from it. It's not necessarily what you expected, and you, like, as you go to, like, it flickers and fails. You need to go back and restudy it to master this.
Yeah, I think Seb wasn't entirely expecting it to work, and the mere fact that it did freaked him out enough that he's like, oh god, I'm not sure if this is what's meant to be happening. So yes, he's going to go back and restudy to make sure that the weird skin bubbling was expected, because he didn't expect that.
Okay.
And then there's probably a good another 30 seconds where he just like sits in the back of the car breathing heavily. A little terrified at what just happened.
Okay, yeah, you feel like the magic coursing over, and take a moment as upstairs, Katie, you see two rooms, and there's two doors going different. You spot a little flare of like light outside, but then it's gone by the time you blink and readdress it. Possibly you only pictured it. There are two rooms, and you know that the sound you heard is in the left one.
I point to the left room, and then I will, as I think we stack up and like move inside very quickly as one.
Okay, and suddenly you burst open the door. As you kick it open, you see that there is a basically empty room with plastic sheeting put all along the floor. There is a table in the center with a body laid across it and the feet dangling on the side, and then towards the back there is a metal table with a bowl of water and a cloth draped across it, which is like dripped red. Just nearby, there is a large bone saw still dripping with viscera, which has been planted on the table, and you cannot see the body's head because of just the angle from it and the light that flickers down from above. There is also a similar bust, phrenology one, on the side with a number of black marks along the inside of it. And although there's no immediate sign of the priest, Katie, as you burst in, you are aware that they are just behind you. You can feel like something looming up and behind, as we will go to initiative to resolve this and see how things play out. So what is everyone's dexterity?
50.
My dexterity is 50.
60.
Okay. Seb, you are first.
I will shake myself, and given that I heard a lot of like
You hear a
sound
door go
from,
bang upstairs. Yeah, you'll hear that splinter open.
I will kind of get out and start making my way up, like doing my best to make less noise than what is going on upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, making my way up, kind of in the hopes that maybe they don't realize there's a third person here yet.
Okay. Do you want to give me a stealth roll? This is going to be you going a bit slower, but
Yep,
you can try to
that's
stealth
fine.
and sneak up.
My stealth isn't great, but we'll see.
Worth a shot.
I have not rolled like below.
So it's a high roll night.
80, yeah, it's one of them.
All right, you
Damn,
begin
you rolled
to move
20.
along, but you're kind of a little out of it at the moment. Your cane clicks along the floors. You get to the bottom of the stairs and begin to make your way up.
I think also some of that has like whatever's coursing through at the moment is having the same effect on his muscles as some of that lightning bullshit, and it's making it hard for him to actually like move gracefully. Graciously is a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As you get up towards the top, unfortunately, the priest is going to act. Katie, you've stepped into the room. Now, you are aware of them there, and it's a good thing you went in because you know where they are rather than Chaz. As you go in, suddenly you feel...
Question.
Yep.
Katie was stealthed. Does that make any kind of impact on
You guys
whether...
burst open the door.
Yeah.
And he heard Chaz coming up as well, so was not prepared.
Yeah,
as you so you burst open the door, you see this. For a moment you look back towards Chaz, and then suddenly there's something clamped across your mouth. There is a dirty rag held between, and suddenly another arm wraps around your chest and bodies you backwards into the room. The priest is large, and you can feel his beard scratching against the back of your neck as he holds you up in the darkness, and as soon as you inhale even slightly, you can feel fumes of something beginning to send you away. First, can you make a fighting brawl or dodge roll?
All right, I will make a fighting brawl roll, and let's see how effectively Chaz's teachings have paid off.
He is not going to have a bonus dice because, as you said, you had spotted him, and that is a fail from him. He goes to grab you, and you. What do? You can apply damage. You can damage him.
Yeah, I think I have the kosh out, and I think I spin it around and I jam it into his rib really hard, like into the soft of his stomach, kidney shot him basically.
Yeah, hell yeah. You turn around and just slam him into it. As he does, he tries to get the rag up across you, but it's before you hit him before you can breathe anything in. He keels over and you stumble away, and as he looks up, you can see his eyes are bloodshot, his beard is in disarray. He's still wearing the priest garbs, but he's gotten rubber gloves and pulled them, snapping over the longest parts of it, and they are stained blood red. In his other hand, he's holding a scalpel, and as you keel away, he looks up at you, and you just see him begin to like mutter something at you in French. What do you want to do?
Two things. First of all, do you want a sanity roll for us seeing this?
Yeah.
Yes, actually, and good call. Let's do that now. I was gonna have it when you see the other thing, but you've seen the father now, so yes, go ahead and make a sanity roll.
When we see
Chaz,
the
can
other
you do it
thing,
as well?
Do I apply damage
the
to
head and stuff?
Oh, okay.
Do
very
I
good.
apply damage to him?
Yeah, you deal damage. It was
Okay.
you repulsed him.
In which case, Chaz.
Not a fumble?
Oh,
On the plus side,
That is a
No, it
fumble.
is a fumble. Oh, no.
God. On the plus side, take this, priest. 6 down.
Nice.
Nice,
Crunch.
dude.
Oh my goodness. I
Is there
taught
rules
everything
about, like,
she knows.
doing non-lethal? Like, if you would want to try and not murder someone, that's the thing you can do in this game? Or is it just like, oh no, you murder people?
It's a kosh as well. I'll presume that it's like you're going for just wax. All right, in that case, Chaz, take 3 points of sanity loss.
Ooh.
Katie, make a
out.
sanity roll.
Fail.
A D3, please. And we now go to Katie and Chaz's turns. So he's holding the rag soaked with something, and the scalpel on the other turn. He turns around and mutters something in French, and then begins to lurch towards Katie. What are the two of you want to do? And who wants to go first?
Well, if Katie's clear, is Katie clear of him? I would probably just shout, "Drop it!" and fire a warning shot above his head.
Okay. Do you want to make an intimidation roll? It's going to be hard, given circumstances, and
But I have a gun.
Agar, you got a gun?
I'm firing a warning shot.
There you are.
Is that where the bonus die?
Can I spend my turn to do the same, like to like gesture and just give a bonus die?
Fuck yeah. Yeah. All right. 100%.
Yeah.
Go for it. Make roll with a bonus dice.
Fantastic. Huh.
Oh god.
I mean, 66 is a regular
It's a
success.
regular.
26 points of luck.
You fire
I might need it.
fire a warning shot, and although he flinches in recoil and whirls between the two of you, he continues to just stalk across. He is not stopping.
I'm not going to take that skill, am I? Because you asked me for a hard. Is that right?
Yes.
You bastard. All right. Well, it was a good idea.
Okay.
We will regroup, re-strategize, and we'll come back to you next round, Dave.
All right, we go back to the top where Seb, you can finish getting up the stairs. You are just coming into the hallway. Unfortunately, slowed by the attempted stealth. You can try and actually the stealth's kind of, but you will arrive at the end of this one. So you come round the corner. Can you please make a sanity roll for me, please? As you see the corpse laid out, the blood-stained instruments, the plastic tarping, and Katie being closed in on by the large priest. There's worse things, I suppose. All right.
Seb has looked into the mythos and is yet to suffer anything. If he can stomach that, he's
Okay.
good. Can I, you said he's muttering something in French. Can I make out what that is?
Oh yeah, as you come across, as you come up, you can hear him. He's mumbling under his breath, "You bastards, trying to stop the good work. I know what you are. I see you sick little cretins. I'll open your skulls and study you, learn more of what you really are. Come here." And then he lunges towards Katie. Katie, he's going to try and stab you with the scalpel. Do you want to
This feels familiar.
dodge or riposte?
I will shriek in panic and swing at him with my kosh.
Okay.
What's his build?
He is build 1.
All right, so am I. So.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad we did that last time then as well. It worked out. Okay. All right, go for it.
No,
Okay.
That's his flavor.
I'm going to roll that. So. And he will. Sorry, so it's 2d4. So that's right, 2d4 plus. Okay, he takes 6 damage.
I take 5 because of my heavy leather coat.
Yep. Is that a major?
No, because of the heavy leather coat.
Okay, he slashes out at it while it cuts through the coat, and you see it jam under, and blood begins to pool. He closes towards and tries to get the rag over your mouth again, but you're continuing to fight with him as he goes away. We now go to Chaz and Katie.
Chaz, hit him!
I will hit him. While he's close to Katie, I don't trust my pistol arm, so I'll holster it and just bring my club down on him scalpel hand.
Can I use my turn to provide Chaz with a bonus die?
You can. Okay, so you're going to try and just position him and get a bonus. I will riposte you. So
you can try.
You go ahead and roll, and then spend any luck that you want to, and then I'll make my roll.
That's okay. I'll have bonus. That's all right. I'll keep the hard.
Watch
this.
this.
Keep the hard.
So you land down, slam across him with a kosh as he slices with the scalpel, and well done. You
need to beat it.
Slam down onto the hand, and it wrenches away from him. Go ahead and roll your damage. So I think we established it was a D8 plus damage bonus.
A large club.
If it was a D8 plus damage bonus, I misrolled mine. I rolled a D6 plus damage bonus previously, but that's fine.
Yeah, sorry. Increase it by 1, Katie. What does that get you up to?
7. Would that have been a major wound?
No.
Okay. Oh, he's
one off.
All right. Well, here's my damage. Oh.
Ooh, not great.
Ooh.
Okay. It's adding up, but unfortunately not. Once again, not quite enough for a major wound.
I was hoping for a bit more.
Okay. All right, he's wounded with 1 kosh to the ribs, and then the other one goes over and begins to break it apart. You can see he's wheezing. It goes to the top. Seb, it's your turn.
I am going to get into the door, and then I am going to yell at this man in French, and I'm going to say, "You are fully aware, Father, that murder is a sin, and you should know very well what God does to sinners." And I'm going to try to, persuade him to stop. Or at least try and, essentially try and distract him is what I'm going for, so...
Definitely distract. Persuading him to fully in the heat of battle, difficult.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to get him to stop. I'm purely trying to, distract him.
100%. Go ahead and make a persuasion roll, please. I am going to say... Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah, we're rolling real well today.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That is... if I have any ability to do anything else, I do want to scan to see if there's anything other than a body and a mad priest in the room.
That's most of your turn focused on him at the moment, but you can see when there's the body, there's the scattered instruments across the table, and there's a couple of shelves and things, but it's pretty bare bones. You call out to him, but he ignores you. Chaz, you slam down his arm, and although he gets wrenched away, he turns and continues to stalk across to Katie. His foot slips a little bit, and the blood on the sheeting towards the ground, and he continues to mutter something in French, saying, "Little harlot, I'm going to open you open and see why you sin." He's going to attack you again, Katie.
I am going to attempt to dodge this time.
Okay, go ahead and roll first, and then decide if you want to spend any luck.
Oh,
Good luck every time. That's fair.
Oh, no.
Gonna sting a little.
Oh my god. 4 points, reduced to 3. He slices across again, and although the dodge fails, you like step away and it only just gets underneath, mostly just cutting through the coat rather than actually hitting you. He rounds on you and you're beginning to get cornered towards the back of the room. From here, you can now see that the body, presumably the homeless man, you recognize him as the one that you spoke to, has had the head sawn open, the skull removed, and you can see the brain in the center, still glistening and wet, has had like little pins, like you might stick into a map, jammed into sections of it with small like A1 and things written on them where they mark. All right, we go to Chaz and Katie.
All right, well, since he just keeps insisting on going to Katie, I gotta get much more up in his grill, up in his face. So Katie take 2 hits. So before I was like, if you're fighting someone with a knife, you got to keep the distance. But he's not really responding well to that. So I gotta tangle with him. I gotta dance. Yeah, I gotta tango.
Boogie woogie. All right, so you're gonna get really like up close and personal, just like grab him and like throttle him with the cart. Hell yeah.
Well, yeah, just like going to town.
Do you have the ability? Are you big enough and strong enough?
One.
Maybe not.
Sorry, go on.
Well, he's got a cloth full of chloroform. Shove that in his face. He's out.
May I genuinely ask a mechanical question, Dave?
Yeah.
Just while I'm trying to, sneak every advantage we can. Does he
You
contest?
sly dog.
Does he contest brawl attempts like wrestling attempts? If we say we're not going to hit him, we're just going to like grab him and pin him. Does he contest that with his scalpel skill or with a brawl skill?
His brawl skill and scalpel skill are the same, so I'm not going to look it up.
Oh shit!
Dual knives use brawl.
Yeah.
Don't they? Axes and swords. They have their own skill, I believe.
Axes has its own.
Yep. So going to town. Another swing of the club.
All right, he's going to riposte. Katie, are you going to try and assist him again, or are you going to do your own thing?
No, I will not. I will not assist him this time.
Okay. All right. He'll scalp you.
Regular success. Not enough luck for any more.
Oh,
ay.
You go to like punch it down at him, and he catches the blow across the shoulder. You hear something like crunch under is just a general thing, but when you look down, the scalpel's been jammed up under your arm where you hit it, and when he rips it out, there's a of blood splashes down onto the ground.
Does this guy like
5
get
damage.
no penalty for being attacked by multiple people at once? Like just curious.
Katie has been assisting, is how I've been factoring that in.
Right.
Yes, there is stuff in here for ganging up on people and things, but we're keeping it.
Yeah, easy enough.
Keeping it moving.
Light and easy. I got one of those heavy leather coats.
Yes, you do. All 3 of you do. So that's only 4.
4 points. I can take that.
Katie, what do you want to
on
try
my
and do?
turn, I'm effectively backed into the corner, so I can't get away, can I?
You can. There's actually a roll for trying to shift out. I think it'd be like a dodge or a fighting brawl, and then you're out of his range, and he'd have to move towards you. But since he's with Chaz, you can keep just like that might redirect him to Chaz if you want to try and escape.
Will he riposte and risk damaging me if I fail this, or will it just be I don't manage to reposition?
I think so, but I'll give him a penalty dice because you're distracted while I'm looking up the rule. Because I know there is one for like bailing.
Cool, because I'm within one hit of going down.
Change my mind.
So
Sorry, it's not a roll. You can use your action to do it. So that's you done. So you can just say, I leave this combat. That's you. You slip and slide it, and you're away from it. And then you can start heading through the door, and he's with Chaz, if that's what you want to do.
Yes, I will leave this combat.
Okay. All right. What's it look like as you're doing it? So he's like lashing around with the scalpel.
I dart down and I land like on the ground where all the blood is, and I crawl under the table and like roll off the other side.
Yes, like smearing through it and getting to the other side, then kicking away as Seb walks into the room. Awesome, that's great. Seb, it is your turn back at the top.
Oh, good. I would like to give Chaz a bonus die for whatever he does next. Is it up to Chaz whether he uses it to dodge / riposte an attack or use it for his own attack, or is it just like?
I'm happy you're helping him out, and the two of you can coordinate.
Yeah, essentially, I would like to spend my action giving Chaz bonus for this.
Here's the thing. So I did just look up the outnumbered rules. The way it works is there is no like static, he has a penalty, but what happens is each time they try and dodge or riposte again, there's a penalty dice for stacking it. So if you get him once, his next one against Chaz will have a penalty die. So that's the way it kind of factors in.
So you gotta
just
hit
do it
him
enough times. Or you have to, you try to. So each time he riposts in the round, the difficulty increases. So if all 3 of you go
gotcha.
at him, the third one, he's got 3 penalty dice to try.
You better have a go at him.
I'm only build 0, so he's going to have a bonus dice against anything I do. I would rather give.
That's only if you try and grapple him. If you just hit him, you're fine. The build already factors into the damage that he applies.
I'm not terrible at hitting, but he is a lot better at hitting things. I'm not really keen on
You can assist. That's totally fine. So you want
I would rather give Chaz, who is much better at hitting things, a bonus for whatever he wants to do.
Okay. So you move into range. What's it look like? Are you like swinging the club, but just in you're driving him towards Chaz, cutting off his escape? Are you continuing to demean him in French?
I think I'm gonna start quoting like Bible verses at this guy in French, like the ones that are all about Leviticus. I'm just gonna start quoting fucking rules at him. I'm gonna be like, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not cover thy neighbor's wife, all of the standard, like, don't do this shit.
That priest robe with those plastic gloves has got to be, different threads or whatever. He's breaking all the rules.
Yeah. Like, he should not mix materials. No fucking cotton and linen together, none of that shit. I think I'm gonna go in and like quote Bible verses, and I'm gonna use the cane to like kind of like gesture at him in ways to make it difficult for him to get away from Chaz.
Hell yeah. Awesome. I was trying to find my notes of the encounter you had in Cobb's Corners with the Hellfire Priest, because you were in the ceremony for it. That you could quote at him.
Yeah.
Like serpents in the garden and shit.
Yeah, because he was all about like there are people who are sinning in where we are. So yeah, I will pull
burn them out
if I remember any of that. Which
hell yeah.
I can translate it to French.
I mean, I think I can.
Exactly. You get the gist for a suit. You basically go, I'm gonna, and if that fails, my buddy is gonna club you to death.
Yeah.
All right. A bonus dice is given to Chaz, but first he is going to roll. Katie's left. He begins to lurch around the table, but Katie's away, and he yields it and goes for Chaz. He is going to attempt to grapple you and chloroform you.
Well, I can riposte that with my club.
You can. All right, so go ahead and roll first and decide if you want to spend any luck. You have a bonus dice. Actually, or you can spend a bonus on this, or you can use it on your attack that follows.
Well, what would be better?
Let's see what you can you decide after you roll?
I'm going to say probably burn it up front, because it's what are you assisting him with?
Mechanically, you're better using it on the repulse, because the repulse will still deal damage.
Yeah, I might as well do it.
You have to... If you attack, you don't have to beat him, whereas on a riposte you do.
Yeah. So this is harder. It's harder to riposte than to hit someone.
That's right.
So I'll use the bonus die now.
Okay, go for it.
All right, great. And it's just normal damage if I manage to succeed? It's just
that's right. If you beat him.
Fantastic. Here we go. Hard.
That's
and
good.
24.
Damn, 85.
That's 7 points of luck for an extreme.
Chaz is a champion.
Extreme
7 points.
He'll get hards. He's so good. He's
getting
I
hard.
think I will. All right, 7 points for an extreme.
All right.
And with an extreme, will that deal? Clubs don't.
Clubs aren't going to impale anyone.
Not impaling. But you would deal maximum because it's a clubbing. I imagine so.
Really?
We'll roll that. Yeah. So you read out. You just, as he goes to grab you, like slam it down into his ribs. You hear something break, but you got him. What is your maximum damage?
Maximum damage would be 1d4, 1d8 plus 1d4.
12 damage.
12.
He drops. Actually, Chaz, describe it.
Yeah.
He goes to like encircle you and get the chloroform across you. Take it.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, he shouldn't have done that. He, I guess if he's like reaching out to me, if he's aiming for my mouth, I can just like get the bat up really high and hit a home run straight over his arm into the side of his head.
Slams you in the side of the skull. Drops, rebounds off the metal table, and cracks to the ground. Were you intending to try and leave this man living at this point?
I would like him to stop moving.
Yeah, he stops moving.
Oh, I wasn't intending to. I wasn't explicitly trying to kill him, but
okay.
Yeah, you can't keep moving.
I will make a Constitution roll, because that is actually the first time he's gone over a major wound.
Okay.
and as he slams to the ground, he is dying as it like ricochets off the thing because he's got a major wound and he's under 0. That was his first one to not die. He is on the ground. He's got a dent all along the side of his head, very similar to where he's carved people open with the bone saw, and blood is just pooling out and across the floor. Katie, from underneath the table looking across, you can see him lying on the ground, his eyes wide and his tongue beginning to like swell in his mouth.
Can I pour over to him and try and first aid to stabilize him?
Okay. Make a first aid.
Can I yell, help me to either Seb or Chaz to get a bonus die?
Do either of you have first aid?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I need to tell you again who my parents are?
My mama.
Yes,
what's
I have above base. I've got 40 in first aid,
Yeah,
which
100%.
is
10 above base, yeah.
10, 5 or 10, I can't remember.
All right, Katie, go ahead and roll a first aid test with a bonus dice.
Okay, here we go. I will lock it down to a success.
Oh, you actually don't have first aid,
need
Katie.
To. So?
You actually don't have first aid. I didn't realize.
I have base, yeah. Only had base, but I figured I didn't want to be like, oh, well, you should roll for it because
100%.
that always feels
That's great. I
metagaming.
just misunderstood.
But that will I have medicine, is what that will result in a hard success.
That's a hard, yeah. You get over. You're able to like jam gauze into the head wound and place it. They are stable. They cannot move. They're out of the fight, and from here,
We saved the day.
the house is quiet. The body laid out is dead. Although it didn't die that long ago, the sawing doesn't necessarily kill them. They are incapacitated by drugs and then cut into to live for as long as possible. In this room, you will find evidence of his mad phrenology study, where he was attempting to identify signs in people. This man was insane, but you will find no ties to the mythos from here or in the adjacent room, where stored in like pickling jars are a number of decaying brains that he's brought with him from afar. He was only just beginning to set up his new
Brain farm.
yeah, here.
Wowee.
All right, well, now what?
Well, search the place, which we do. Restrain the guy. One of us take like one car goes to get the make a phone call to the police to let them know to come here, and then the other car comes out, and we can ditch from there.
Here's what I'm thinking. We are gonna tangle with the Migo again, and we know they're all about swapping brains, taking them out, pickling them, putting it into other people. And if we ever find any information about that, I mean, I don't know what the dorks back at Oil and Chemical need. It seems like if they're gonna find out about the Migo brain swapping process, they're gonna need some brains of their own to study and whatnot. And it'd be morally reprehensible or whatever to kill people and use their brains, but we just found some brains. If we can get these back, maybe that's a tool that we can use against Amigo, right?
I reckon we leave this here. This
About the same
is evidence,
process.
and we've done it.
Yeah, but we're already scuppering. We're already getting out of here. We got him, right? And now it's the police's job to clean it up, so we don't need to stay and talk to him. They're gonna miss half a dozen brains. How many's he gotten there?
If you want to bring a couple of brains, I don't know, do it, but I don't
There's
want
like
to
3 or
hold them.
4, not a ton.
Those are
3 or 4?
Sorry, maybe like 5 or 6, but like the older ones are like decaying and like fucked up. There's like a few like fresher ones, for lack of a better word. He'd only have like 3.
These are in formaldehyde, not in some kind of jar that the Migo have specially created to preserve brain activity.
Yeah.
These are dead brains.
All right.
I do not think they're gonna help us.
I just want to help. That's all right.
The closest one is the one of the man that he just killed. You could take
fresh.
that one.
But this is maybe the only man who'll get the chance of a full burial. I think one of us stays to make sure that the guy doesn't die while the others call the police, and then after a reasonable time.
Is there a phone
right.
in this house or not?
Not hooked up
Okay.
now.
we've got 2 cars though, so we can send one person out to get to a local roadhouse or whatever, time it out, call the police, have the others stay, and then leave with the other car after like half an hour or an hour or whatever.
I mean, you could just
head
head to the. You could start driving and then call it in from the airport or whenever you're
I was just
away.
thinking that
Do you plan
someone
to
might
speak
need
to the
to
police in any further detail?
How long is the drive to to where we need to be for the plane?
Several hours.
Quebec.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna help. And how far out of town is this place?
Not very. 15 minutes.
I say
And the train's cut off to us? Is that right?
Currently, there's police there that are. You guys failed the push roll. They're gonna get you to come in and talk and explain everything.
Right. So if we go back in town, the police are finding us, or we're getting out of town now.
That's it.
So we could try and find somewhere on the way that has a phone that we can ring.
Mm-hmm. You can do that.
All right.
And
That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Okay. No rolls needed. You pile back into the car and begin to drive out of Latouk and bound for Quebec, where a plane is waiting to get you back across the border and into America before the police can ask you too many questions. You can stop in somewhere, deliver a tip to the detective, telling him to look at the house, and he'll find the evidence there that he needs. You just see if it's like one of the desk sergeants or someone, so by the time it gets passed along and by the time they trace the call, you'll be long gone. Outside of Quebec, there's an airfield and there's a plane waiting and ready for you. You can all load your things up and begin to fly south across the border and back towards Massachusetts. Any final thoughts or scenes before this draws to a close?
Seb is pretty quiet on the drive. Kind of a little terse, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think Katie's doing a lot of focusing on the many cuts across herself, but after sort of doing some light tending, she'll remark idly like, oh, I'm glad we did that. I just wish things would stop stabbing me.
Are you kidding? That was badass, Katie. You see him come with you, coming with the jab, and you did the nibble, you did the lighten the feet, lighten the balls, and then you jump back. That's how you meant to do it. I mean, and then I came in with the swing in the bat. Did you hear that sound? You hear that sound? I think his skull was in 3 pieces by the time I was done with him. Oh boy, he's gonna regret that in the morning. I'll tell you that much for free. And hey, hopefully that guy, finds his friend. It was still mostly in 1 piece. I think you're right. Katie. He's gonna get a pretty good burial. I mean, I think we did as much as we could, right? We came in there, we came and saved the day. Everyone's a happy ending for anyone who survived. I mean, I don't think we could have done much better. I think, hopefully, once the heat blows off and the story starts getting around town, we're gonna remember us as heroes. We're gonna be those 3 strangers rolling to town, found the bad guy, put an end to him. I don't see how that can come back to bite us in any way. If anything, come back same time next year, welcome us with open arms, throw a big feast, whatever, put a statue of us in the town. We pretty much saved the day. There's nothing to be worried about here. I mean, I could go on, but
Hell yeah.
but I won't. I was waiting for someone to stop me, but that's all right.
No,
Apparently the plane is just too low.
Seb waits until you run out of steam. And then he looks you dead in the eye and goes, if you had just listened, Chaz, Katie wouldn't be hurt right now. This had nothing to do with Amigo, like I said.
Well,
So maybe think about it next time you jump in and smash someone's brains out. Because the last time you did that, we were in trouble with the police. You want to get Katie killed? Keep acting like that.
It was her choice. She agreed. She's an adult. She can make her own decisions. Can't you, Katie?
I think you're both right. We got to be cautious, but yeah.
There is
I'm
no
glad we
point
did
in throwing ourselves into problems that have nothing to do with us.
It was reckless, but
No, it was suicidal. Check yourself, Dedrick. And then I'm gonna walk, away and sit down with my notes and start going over that spell. And re-memorizing it. And you'll see Seb just, muttering under his breath as he rememorizes things.
Great scene.
Hell yeah. Okay. Katie and Chaz sit towards the back, and Seb isolates himself and goes back over his mythos notes as you soar over the border and bound south. There you'll pick back up with Federated Oil and Chemical, report on your findings, and make your final preparations before returning to Vermont, which will begin next session.
Hooray!
And pick up in a week. Jeez
Hell yeah.
Louise.
We did it.
Did you
We did
expect us to get through the whole chapter in that one?
You never know.
Never
No,
know.
we were about to turn tail and flee about an hour ago.
True.
I'm glad we
I
did.
mean, to be fair, you're pretty much now gonna have to put up with being like, Seb's like, I was right, and you didn't listen, and someone almost died.
Yeah.
And you also stopped
But
the serial
I
killer.
was right because we stopped the bad guy and no one died.
Again, there's bad people all over the world. Seb doesn't care. Seb cares about the Migo.
To be continued.
TBD.
Yep.
This conversation isn't done.
Oh yeah, no, I feel some good scenes coming.
Hell yeah. So we will be back next week, and additionally, the curse of time zones, it will be an hour later to what is standard. So it'll be 4 p.m.
what?
Pacific. I think it's like tomorrow that
Because
daylight savings
Pacific is going into daylight savings.
I just time zoned
Pacific's
it, so I'm
happening
pretty sure it's
next
4 p.m.
week. I think
And then,
Europe
it's a
happens
week,
the
there's
week
something
after,
else, yeah.
and then the week after that is we change, or the week. There's
Yeah,
a
we
couple
pinned to
coming up.
Australian, so we'll be 10 a.m. here. It'll be in the tweet and stuff, so that should update it. But it'll only be an hour shift, hopefully. So we will see you all then.
Time zones. We're
Excellent.
here at 10 a.m. in Melbourne every week, and as you go out of daylight savings, it's going to change. And when you go into daylight savings, it'll change.
That's right,
And then
that's
when we
right.
come out of daylight savings, it's going to change again. What a pain.
Ah, time zones.
Whose idea was this?
And also, we'll have the RuneQuest campaign continuing this week, so be sure to check that out and see what's going on. Everything goes up on the YouTube, it's on the Twitch, and all sorts of good
it's
things.
great.
So
Check it out.
good stuff. All right, thanks y'all, and
Thanks,
thanks everyone
Dave.
for watching, and we'll see you in a week.